Everybody, and welcome to Upper St. Clair Panthers Stadium. Our undefeated Panthers have another big one this week for Hall of Fame night, and it is the Bethel Park Blackhawks, the rival from right down the road, who come to town. Both teams undefeated in the conference. Huge game tonight for both schools, and there's never a time where an Upper St. Clair Bethel Park game isn't a big game, but in terms of the stature of both squads, massive one tonight. I'm very happy to be here. I am joined by my side by a 2016 Panther grad, former Dayton Flyer offensive guard, and my dear friend Ryan Harkleroad. Harks, thanks for being here tonight, my friend.
Oh, Gav, thanks for having me. I mean, you got to check your pulse if you are not fired up for this football game. It is going to be a phenomenal contest.
Here comes the Panthers in their all-black uniforms through the tunnel, and you know, I got a chance to talk to a bunch of the kids and a bunch of the coaches. Obviously, they're excited, but I think this is, as fall starts to turn, you get these nice, crisp high school football nights, you start to think about how these football games are won, and for the Panthers so far this season, things have really been won in the trenches.
Yeah, I mean, really impressive. I mean, we talked about a little bit this week, up front, offensive and defensive line. I think that's really the difference this year between past Upper St. Clair teams under Coach Junko. Not only do they have phenomenal skill players, they're really controlling the game up front as well.
Yeah, Panthers have a lot of seniors on the front seven on defense and certainly on the offensive line. And sometimes that shows. I know coaches love to win with seniors, and especially in this sport, because strength at the point of attack, experience, not making the mental mistakes, and that's really what we've seen from the Panthers so far this season.
Yeah, it's all about you've been there, you've done that, you know what the standard of excellence is here, and you know what to bring every single Friday night.
All right, so let's set the stage a little bit in terms of some of the keys tonight. Now, Bethel Park has been really strong on the ground. They have a two-pronged attack, and Austin Kai, number 24, the senior, who's a football, basketball guy, has been their leading ground gainer. He's got a little bit of wiggle to him. He's a little bit of an athlete. And then big number 35, Gavin Mole, who's an incredible two-way football player, linebacker, running back. He's kind of more of the fullback to bang it at you type of guy. He's got Division I offers, and he's a really special player.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting matchup. I know Coach DeLaw, the head coach for Bethel Park, very well. He is going to be downhill physical football, and also he's going to take those easy access throws on the outside. It should be a good matchup between these two offenses. It'll
be interesting to see. Last week, the first drive of the game, Mount Lebanon kind of mixed it up. They did a lot of different things with wrinkles, and they moved the ball right down the field. It's probably the only time that's happened this year, and I was actually very concerned. They went down and scored 7 points right away, and then really didn't do much else. The Panthers did a great job of adjusting. Bethel is probably the best offensive football team they've played so far. It'll be very interesting for me to see how that, if they can bang it, how are they going to be able to move the ball against this very stout Panther defense?
They're going to be very multiple. They're going to come out in empty sets, four wide, and they're going to line up in the I formation and run counter and power all day.
Yeah, and the other thing to pay attention to is two sophomore quarterbacks, which is something you don't see very often. Tanner Pfeiffer is on the helm for Bethel. He's a tall, rangy kid. But again, a sophomore. Obviously, Julian Dowm back operating the controls for the Panthers, and it's you can't really say inexperience at this point if you've been starting all season. But you'd rather have a senior back there for a reason. That'll be interesting to see. The stakes are very high. There might be a lot of pressure tonight. Let's see how that goes. So, okay, we got the captains here out for the Panthers, and we've got Zach Ehos, number 52, Mark Banbury, 55, 75, Big Marcus Fennell, 7, Jamal Brown. And then we've got for the Panthers, who we mentioned, Austin Kai, number 24, 35, Gavin Mole, and number 21, Jack Riley, who's one of their speedy wideouts, diminutive guy, also good in the return game. So we've set the stage for you tonight, and Harks, is there anything from your experience with Coach DeLallo that would lead you to believe they might do something crazy, tricky, anything like that? What do you would expect from him in a game like this?
He is a very intelligent, one of the most intelligent coaches, high school through college, that I've ever been around, and he is going to pull out all the stops in a game like this. I would not be surprised to see some trickery on special teams, some different looks on offense, maybe something exotic on defense. I really think you have to prepare for everything in a game like this.
Outstanding. I have to think, Harks, that this makes you really miss those Friday night lights. Does it a different feeling when you come up here and for a game like this? Does the butterflies come back?
Oh man, I can feel it right in my little belly over here, and it's just so exciting to be in a matchup like this. You can almost smell the tension in the air for a game. It's going to be an awesome atmosphere tonight. Yeah,
before we get going, we do want to mention that it was Hall of Fame. It is Hall of Fame night tonight. I got the honored to be at the ceremony as a member of the committee, and amazing stuff. But there were several former Panther greats inducted tonight, but 2 football Panther standouts that I want to give a shout out to and a congratulations to. First, obviously, Dakota Conwell, who was an outstanding football player not too long ago. And, of course, Big John Mascaro, class of 85. The Mascaro family has been a big part of Panther football for a while. And, he was a tough, hard-nosed physical player. And then, of course, the class of 1993, which was I was a freshman and my brother was in that class, Brian Dreschler, who went on to start the Naval Academy. So Coach Render is going to join us throughout the evening. He's going to provide us with some stories and I know he beams with pride having coached those 3 kids. And there is a special sort of thing tonight. It's the 30th anniversary of the 1992 Whitfield Championship team. They were state finalists, and there's probably 25 members of that team here. They were at the Hall of Fame banquet. Super cool. I got to catch up with a lot of old friends, and just a neat night altogether. So let's hope the Panthers can deliver a big one tonight. So the Hawks are in their road white/grays kicking off, going from right to left on your screen. Here's Jamal Brown going from left to right on your screen. The Panthers in all black. Jamal's got a little crease. Here he goes up the sideline. He's going to get it about to the 37-yard line. Nice return, and there's a flag. I don't know, is that a late hit or something?
Yeah, it looked like a late hit. I mean, he was probably 1.5 steps out of bounds. You're juiced up, big rivalry game. Is it the mistakes? Got to play well on special teams. Can't make mistakes like that. It looks like the Blackhawks made a mistake on the first special teams play of the game. I'm
happy to see that because particularly the Peters game I thought got really chippy, and I didn't think the referees did a very good job of sort of reining that in. Something like that early on might calm everybody down and get back to football, because the last thing I want to see is fights. I want to see a great, hard-nosed, physical football game. So dream field position for the Panthers here, starting on the opposing 45-yard line. That's great to see, and I know Coach Junk's going to be really thrilled to special teams is such a big part of his thing. Dallum, hands to Brown. Rolling left, he's got some room here. Crosses the 40, into about the 38 for a gain of 7.
Interesting thing to monitor there, Gavin. Looks like they were manned up on the outside on Besselman there. No safety over the top. I think that might be something that Coach Junko would want to explore as the game goes on.
Yeah, it seems like the Panthers have really tried to establish the run off the bat in games so far this year, and then sort of build up, try to suck the defense in. But there's a lot of bodies already around the line of scrimmage. Here's Jamal Wright. Off tackle. He's dancing. Doesn't get hit until about the 33. That's another 5-yard gain. First down Panthers.
Yeah, I got to say, when you have a unit up front like that and a back like Jamal Brown, it's kind of hard to fault him for wanting to establish the run there.
Now let's set the stage here. Starting lineup. We've got 3 receivers, of course, for the Panthers. Cody Marr, number 5, to the top of your screen, along with Jake Huffnagel, both seniors. 4, Aiden Besselman to the bottom of your screen, another senior. Jamal Brown, number 7, the tailback. Julian Dallum, the quarterback, a sophomore, number 2, and number 34, Shea Moorhead, the fullback, another senior. Here comes Jamal again. Nice cut up the middle. Here goes Jamal across the 25 to the 24. Gain of 9 for the Panthers, mowing him down right now.
Yeah, pretty much an ideal start here. You didn't have to put the ball in the air at all. Just run, and you're already at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, great stuff from the offensive line. We'll call them out now. Marcus Fennell, big 75 at left tackle, the senior. Nate Stoll, sophomore guard, 58. Zach Ehos, 52 at center. 55, senior Mark Banbury, and 78, junior Marco Carone. Here's Julian off tackle. Oh, he gets carried forward he gets a big gain, probably about 10 yards. It was a nice tackle by Aiden Curry, but he probably got about 10 or 11 yards there.
Yeah, one thing I love to see as a former offensive lineman, these receivers are involved in the run game on almost every single play. These guys are downfield, and that's when you have a great run game, when you're getting those linemen to the second level, and those receivers are putting in effort down the field.
Yeah, I actually complimented a couple of the coaches this week. I said I hadn't seen very many receivers who were as unselfish and concerned about blocking as this crew was, and they've been really impressive. So 1st and 10 at the 14, great drive so far for the Panthers. Here's Jules. He's going off tackle again, scoots through. Now he's met. Good hit. Number 1, Ryan Petrus, who's a guy you'll see a lot in the passing game. Sticks him, but still a gain of 3, not a bad first down play. Anything surprising so far in this drive, Harks?
Nothing real surprising. We expected St. Clair to come out and establish the run. One thing on that last play maybe that I'd keep monitoring is Bethel. See, now they're in their 4 down front. They started off in a 3 down front, and at the snap shifted to a 4 down front. So might be a little wrinkle they're throwing in there.
Here comes Jamal off tackle. And unfortunately, he couldn't quite read. If Huff had changed his block, it's probably a hold. And so that's really the first positive play for for Bethel's defense, we got a loss there. It's going to be 3rd and long.
Yep, good job by the defensive end for Bethel Park, kind of stringing that play out horizontally and then letting his help come make a play.
So one of the things that have been the hallmark of the Panthers so far is getting in 3rd and manageable situations. This is not ideal, obviously 3rd and 11, but let's see. This is Jules' first passing situation. Let's see if he gets time and has an opportunity. Obviously, Besselman's the guy they typically look for. Jules rolls right. He does have a little time. Now he runs out. Oh, he drops the ball. He went to try to throw it, unfortunately, and I think he just sort of dropped it. And that is going to be a fumble recovery by 11, Aiden Curry. And wow, to have a drive like that and come away with nothing is a big momentum shift early in the game.
Huge stop there for Bethel Park, and like you said, big momentum shift. And one thing I think that's got to be a focus for St. Clair in these big games, you have to take care of the football. And if it's a tough situation, he's got guys bearing down on him, but you kind of almost have to eat it and just take the sack there and cover the ball up.
Yeah, if there's one thing you can nitpick so far for the Panthers this year, it's been turnovers, ball security. They can be a little cleaner, and I think the coaches have stressed that. I know a bunch of them said that to me, so here goes the Hawks on their first drive. Trying to go up the middle, decent gain, gets about 3. I couldn't tell who that was. Austin Kai, 24, but Panthers pretty stout at the line so far. They're going to give him 4, but still not bad. I think we've talked about this. You expect them to be big and straight to the point of attack, and that's what we saw right away.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They're stacking it up. No receivers, extra linemen, and they're just...
Kai gets wide. He gets outside. They sort of had the gap up the middle, and he gets a big gain. That's a tackle by Tim Spear, but not before 15-yard gain, first down for the Hawks.
Yeah, you get all those O-linemen, those extra tight ends up in there with the fullback in the backfield, and you kind of draw the defense in, and if you can get speed in the outside, it's kind of, we say MTSM, make the safety miss, or RTSO, run the safety over. So, I mean, that's pretty much the situation that Bethel put him in there.
So it's interesting. They had about 5 down linemen in on that last play. Now they're going back to their typical 3-3-5 stack. They're going on a little end-around sweep. Oh, that looked like a push in the back on the corner. No call. Oh, here he goes. Petrus down the sideline. That's a big gainer all the way down to the Panther 15. Big gain. I thought it was a block in the back on Besselman trying to contain on the corner, but boy, Bethel Park has shifted momentum drastically. Big gain there from Petrus on the end-around.
Yeah, St. Clair's got to get a stop here to kind of calm the momentum.
It's interesting. It's exactly what you talked about, Harks. We're seeing a lot of sort of exotic motion and things. It's all run, but it's a lot of misdirection.
Yeah, I mean, they go from 11 personnel on that play, and then you go back to, I mean, now they're back up all these tight ends and extra linemen in the game.
So here comes Kai up, and that's going to be another pretty good gain, 4 or 5, just a simple off tackle. It seems like instead of trying to go hard between the tackles, they're going a little wider, making the Panther, the physical lineman run a little bit more. And now the Panthers are coming back in with the 5 down linemen as Ehas and Brock Gillespie come in the game.
Yeah, it looks a little gamesmanship here going between the Panthers and the Blackhawks coaching staff with Justin for personnel.
So we got 2nd and 6 here. Blackhawks driving. Got it at the 13. This is Kai going up the gut again. Gets a pretty good gain of about 3. So it's going to be about 3rd and let's say 3. And, I think these offenses are probably pretty similar, Harks, in terms of, wanting to make positive gains on the first 2 downs and limit long 3rd downs.
Yep, for sure. And there you can see as Bethel Park trots off their extra lineman and their fullback, bringing in more receivers. St. Clair trots off 2 defensive linemen. Quick adjustment there early in the game.
Yeah, this is why I always talk about I wouldn't want to coach football. It's just very obvious, the strategic decisions.
Oh, almost got him there.
Yeah, trying to.
Coach disagree with you there, Gas.
He knows I think it's a video game. 3rd and 3, big play. Here's Kai right up the middle. He tries to bang it up.
Nice
Doesn't
stick.
seem like much room there. Really strong at the point of attack. That is number 78, Marco Carone, the big junior. And it's going to be 4th and 2. I have no idea what Bethel's kicking game's like. Are they going to try to get 3 points and establish? Nah, it looks like the offense stays on the field.
You have to go here. 4th and 2, you're on the road, big rivalry game. There should be no even discussion.
I assume, Harks, that everybody is not like insanely aggressive like I am. So, they get a quick snap. Here comes Kai up the middle. He's going to get it without a problem. Gets all the way down to the 6. I'm not even sure the Panthers were ready there. Looked like a quick snap.
Yeah,
almost.
a little quick snap, yep. Quick snap, and it looked like a defensive end and outside backer got drawn out by the fake jet sweep there.
So 1st and goal from the 6. Boy, the tables have turned. 6 minutes to go in the first quarter, still scoreless. Ooh. Hawks driving. They fake it. Here's the end around to Petrus. He sneaks through, and he's going to score. Boy, it looked like they almost had him in the backfield. Another little end around. Ryan Petrus from 6 yards out, and Bethel strikes first.
Yeah, there was a big miss there by the officiating crew. One of the wing for Bethel Park moved for sure there, but I mean, you got to play ball. It kind of made the St. Clair outside backer a little slow play it, and it's, I mean, good play by Bethel, good drive.
Absolutely, good drive. You know, for me, this is what scared me last week, because Mount Lebanon looked absolutely unstoppable on the first drive, and then luckily Panthers adjusted, but there wasn't anything fancy there. There was no throwing, no anything. They ran the ball. So extra point by number 46, Caden Wetzel, is good with 5:46 to go in the first quarter. The Panthers trail 7-0 to the Hawks. You know, we talked about a lot of the alums here, which is always a very special moment. We should take some time to also mention some of the legendary coaches that are in attendance as well. We've got Coach McKinney, Coach Salute, Coach TC, Terry Coleman are up in the booth with us tonight, and I want to give you guys a shout. Longtime Panther legends, and of course, Coach Render. Coach, welcome to our booth.
What an honor to be with you two celebrities.
The booth just got a lot smarter by bringing Coach in, I'll tell you that.
Not a high standard. Coach, I have to imagine the Hall of Fame night. I know you're a big member, a big reason the Hall of Fame exists, but also that night has to be special for you in terms of reminiscing and seeing old special guys that you coached.
Well, you know, it was a thrill tonight to see Dakota and then Johnny Mascaro and Brian Drexler. And then the Drexler's teammates, the 1992 class of 93 WPIL champion, they organized this themselves, but they're having their 30-year reunion. And, you know, you don't understand, and you'll understand this sooner than later, but coaches love to see the old guys, you know, and like Ryan Harper.
An old guy.
Ryan Harper.
So, you know, I got a letter this week from a guy that I coached at East Liverpool in 1965. I mean, it was a beautiful letter and, you know, shocking, and he was a ladies basketball coach in New Mexico, and I think he's in their Hall of Fame down there. You'd have thought I was his father. Just, you know, East Liverpool, I still go back.
So they go short here, kind of a squib style, and Panthers going over. This is Aiden Kahn, the senior tailback. And pretty good idea. You know, the Panthers have been so strong in the return game this year, it doesn't surprise me that they would sort of do something exotic instead of kicking it to Besselman or Brown, especially after the first return.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we were, I think it was my senior year, junior year, we were playing. Miles Sanders played for Woodland Hills, and I think at Coach McKinney's direction, it was do not kick it anywhere near this person.
Yeah, Coach, I'm going to tee you up for later. This question was asked by a member of the studio audience earlier, so I'm going to let you think about this. We wanted to hear comparing and contrasting, apparently, between the 89 and 92 teams. So just marinate on that one, and during a break, it was a request. Just saying. I give my audience a lot of love. If they ask me to do things, I'm all about giving them love. Want to give a special shout out tonight to the Applebaum brothers, Neil and Reed. Gave me a great shout out today, said how much they love the broadcast and how much they miss, you know, wearing that black and white, and how they are always watching from Minnesota and Massachusetts. And it's neat to hear from all you guys. The emails, the texts, the phone calls, the tweets, they never get old. I just want you all to know that. So, you know, bless you all. And I love hearing from you. It was amazing to see all those guys I went to high school with tonight.
Yeah, and while we're giving shout-outs, I have my good buddy I graduated with, Brandon Ford, and played with. He's listening in, too, and he's been crying and complaining. I haven't shouted him out yet, and we've been on the broadcast for less than 10 minutes.
Love you, B. Ford. One of the great linemen, also a Pitt Panther alum. So here we go. Panthers had a good drive first, but ended up with nothing. Let's see how the second drive goes. This is JB again. Going to get about 3 off tackle, but it looks like Bethel's getting a little more stout here at the point of attack.
And I don't want to pick on any high school athlete, but you see Besselman lined up there with 21. I mean, 5'7", 170 or 5'9", 170 he's listed at. Manned up on him. I think at some point you have to take a shot there.
No, absolutely. This is JB again outside, but boy, oh no, and he stripped the ball again. I think the Panthers got it back, but that wasn't going anywhere anyway. Yeah, good job to get that back. I think that. But man, oh man, again, Harks, it's a common refrain right now. Despite Hunter Schreck, the senior, jumping on that ball, you just cannot give those sort of opportunities, to your opposition. Very
especially in a game like this.
No, absolutely. This is one of those things where the margin of error might be very small tonight. So now we're at 3rd and 12, and again, not an ideal situation that you want to be involved in. Here's Jules throwing, and was not on the same page with Besselman, was not there on the slant. Panthers are going to be forced to punt.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of miscommunication. Panthers, after a good first drive, drove it. They started off in enemy territory and drove it down after the fumble. It kind of looks like they've been a little shaky on offense since then. Hopefully they can clean it up and refocus.
Yeah, it's one of those things, Harks, where these are games of runs. They are games of momentum, and it's right now the momentum has shifted. I think it was sort of one play that kind of shocked them. So here's Jacobo Echeverria, the freshman. Good kick. Oh, and it's going to take a big Panther bounce and settle about the 35. So pretty good work from the freshman getting it away, but Panthers going to have to do a little bit better job on the defensive end, and hopefully they'll adjust like they did against Lebo.
Yeah, for sure. Football's all about adjusting. You come out, you have your script, you have your first 15, 20 plays, everything that you want to run, but hey, it doesn't work as well as it did in practice when the defense is running exactly what you think they're going to run, and they come out in something different. So they're definitely going to adjust. It's a great coaching staff on both sides, so it'll definitely be a chess match as we get along here through the game.
It's interesting, and this is the part of football that I probably love the most in terms of sort of an amateur trying to analyze it. I just love how the adjustments come and the chess matches come. But here's the same stuff, and that's just power right up the middle, and that's about an 8 or 9 yard gain. And that's a little concerning, I have to admit. Nobody's really done this to the Panthers yet this year in terms of at the point of attack. And to see this now on a second drive is a little concerning to me, Arks.
Yeah, you can see they're bringing speed to the outside in the first drive a little bit, but you got to stop. If they can run up the middle all day, Coach DeLawle is going to line up and just run it all day right up that middle if you can't stop them.
No, and there's no reason to change. So this is going to be the first pass. Oh, it's a wheel route, and Mole is wide open. Back out of the backfield. Nobody saw him. He breaks one tackle. He breaks a second tackle. He gets all the way down to the 4 yard line. The wheel route gets him. It's just broken coverage, and that is a big gain for the Hawks.
Yeah, it's a quasi, I don't want to call it a trick play, but almost a trick play where they fake the toss sweep to the right, send 2 receivers off in the crosser, and leak the inside guy out in the wheel route. And you kind of get lost in the trash. If you got your eyes in the backfield or your eyes in the crossers, you can kind of lose them. And it's a phenomenal play call, great play design.
I got to give a shout out to my dad. I'm sure he's watching because my dad always says most unstoppable play in high school football is back out of the backfield. Nobody ever seems to cover it. Here we go. Here's Kai running off tackle to the right. Panthers a little more stout there. That's number 10, Jacob Huffnagel, sort of slanting in. Makes a nice tackle, gain of about 1. See if the Panthers can be a little stout here and prevent a 2-touchdown lead early on. Now you're sort of on your heels a little bit because that's the first pass, and it was wildly successful. I'm guessing the Panthers are a little shaken right now. So it looks like they're sort of changing the play in from the sideline here. They had a check with me. 2nd and goal from about the 2. Pfeiffer's going to go straight QB sneak, and they push right behind him, the fullback Mole. Very easy done. And that is a second score with 2:38 to go in the first quarter. The Panthers trail already 13-0 with extra point pending.
Another very smart play there by Bethel Park. Like you said, a little check with me. They're going to line up in their formation. We're going to see what the defense is in. Cadence, see what the defense does. Check to the sideline. You could see him almost think someone might have tapped their heel or tapped their knee or something for a little QB sneak and just line up. No one's in the right A gap and walk in.
So this is Wetzel again with the extra point here. Snap is down, kick is up, kick is wide right. So, not everybody has, a Bennett Henderson, so I don't ever assume that the extra point is going in at this level. But, the Panthers have some soul searching to do down 13-0, Harks.
Yep. Job number 1 here, you got to line up and say, hey, boys, let's get a good return here. Let's get good field position, no mistakes here, get a good return. You just got to focus one play at a time.
Yeah, we're not off to a great start, and it's early. That's probably the best part of this. But I think the most concerning part, obviously, is on the defensive side of the ball, I don't think the Panthers have allowed more than 13 points in a football game this year. So, to allow 13 points in the first quarter is a little bit scary. You have to think they'll probably get their sea legs and adjust, but, it does change, I think, the complexion of the game. So if you're the Panthers getting the ball here, is your mindset change? Obviously, you don't want to hit the panic button, but do you want to possess the ball, keep your defense off the field? What's the strategy here?
I've said it twice already now, but I think at some point, and I understand wanting to come out and run the ball with the line you have up front and the back you have in the backfield, but with the skill guys you have in the outside, you almost got to let them eat. And they're a little squib onside again by Bethel.
Yeah, so again, they want to, so far, like for example, Besselman has not touched the football yet. And, he's the game breaker. He and JB are the game breakers. And, I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a wide receiver screen or something just to get Besselman a touch. And, getting the ball in his hands is a good thing just to let, the Bethel team know he's there and, always a big threat.
Yeah, you might have a good call there, Gav. Coach Junk kept Besselman by his side, telling him something right at the end. So we'll see if the ball goes to him here. I mean, he's manned up on the outside again. Or not necessarily manned up, but has single.
So here's JB up the middle again. Good, strong gain. That's going to be about 5, I'd say, although I don't love that spot, so he's only going to get about 4. But they're a little bit better of a hole there for the Panthers, and, that's staying on schedule, as Coach Junko likes to say.
Yeah, like you said, Gav, there's no reason to hit the panic button here, and there's a reason that I'm up here and not down there. Coach Junk, stay the course. Let's get our 3-4 yards, and let's get back on rhythm.
Here's Jules. Nice little cutback. He's going to go up the gut, and that's going to be a big gain. About 7 and a first down for the Panthers.
I mean, I love 55 Mark Banbury. I mean, he just took his guy 15 yards down the field or 10 yards down the field and planted him right into the ground. He is cratering people up front right now.
So that's a big first down. The last thing you wanted to do when you're the defense is a little shaken right now is go 3 and out and get the ball right back to the Hawks. Possessing the ball right now is a useful tool. Yes, you want to go get points. They need to go get points, but a sustained drive would be a great thing here.
Most definitely.
So here's JB again. We're up the gut hard there, and that's going to be a big loss for the Panthers. Probably a loss of 2, and it seemed like they sent a lot of guys there. Number 11, Aiden Curry, has been in the backfield a lot so far, and these are not, linemen. These are linebackers. He and Mole that are, I think, sort of creeping towards the line of scrimmage. So it'll be interesting to see what they do to sort of keep that honest.
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, you can see Bethel three down linemen here, but they're getting to 4 down linemen some way or the other. And so here you'll see 4 down. Let's see if one of the backers comes.
So Julian up the middle. I thought that was a mask. I guess not. He's going to get about 3. So unfortunately, we're in that long situation here. It's 3rd and 9 again. His clock ticking down. We're inside of a minute to go in the first quarter. I feel like this is a fairly big play despite it being early in the game, Harks.
Yeah, so I'm a crazy person and would say this is 4 down territory and that you get half of this and you go for it on 4th down, but I'll be curious to see what the Panthers' strategy is.
Well, we'll get to that. I think we get to that pretty much every broadcast, in my opinion, on that topic. But, again, I expect at some point here there's going to be some usage of Aiden Besselman because I haven't seen anybody able to check him one-on-one. They have Riley on him, who's a very talented guy, but it's hard. So here's Jules. And here is Bess, but they got safety up over the top. It's a post, and Bess has it, and that's
Doesn't
easy.
matter.
No problem. and that's why we talk about Bess as the game breaker, because nobody's going to be able to check him one-on-one. But if you saw, there was safety help over the top. They still just couldn't even get there.
Yep, corner had outside leverage there, known he had safety help over the top. Didn't matter, blew right by them both.
So beautiful, beautiful ball from Jules. And,
great throw.
I'm not a – look, I do coach – if I was coaching football, I would almost treat it like a video game. That's just not realistic. But it's the bottom line is when you have a guy like that who is a game changer, you do have to use him. And so this is Bennett Henderson, who's Mr. Automatic right through the uprights, and the Panthers with a big, big response. 13-7 now with 16 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Huge. Now the boys are going to be fired up, running down there on kickoff. Let's go down and make a big hit on the KO.
Yeah, I don't want to prolong the – or be over effusive in my praise of Aiden, but it's just one of those things where this is, high school football, Western Pennsylvania, this is good football, but it isn't like, it's a bunch of Division I kids all over the place. When you have an athlete like that, he does stand out. And every game we've played so far, we've basically seen this where there's not a guy who can guard him.
And I don't want to use the word unguardable, but unguardable.
Yeah, I mean, it's really played out that way against Mount Lebanon. I thought there was a lot of sort of interference and things like that, and he still had something like 9 catches. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, the Panthers' pass blocking has been a real strength so far this year, and if it gets to that where they got to chuck it, I think they're confident in doing that. So here's one of the great strengths for the Panthers, special teams generally, but certainly number 99, Bennett Henderson.
He looks like a directional KO there.
Yeah, he's going to go sort of a low and left. A little bit of room here. Boy, that's a really good return. That's out to about the 33 or 34. That is unusual. That's really good field position in terms of what the Panthers have typically allowed this year.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if that was a miss hit. He had a small walk up there. I wonder if he was trying to get some air under it and let the boys get down there, and he just might have hit a little closer to the center of the ball.
As it gets colder and the ball doesn't travel as well, they probably are thinking, well, the chance of him getting touchbacks is not as good because his touchback percentage is pretty high. So I will be intrigued to see this drive. I think this drive is going to be very telling whether the Panthers find a way to adjust and slow down what's been a juggernaut so far. The Hawks offense has been really impressive. So now they're in the shotgun, 3 wide, but Kai still in the backfield, and he's going to get it again. Here's Austin Kai coming. Nice. Nate Stoll, number 58, who's just having a heck of a season, the sophomore, did a really nice job pursuing from the backside, brings him down for about a 2-yard gain, and that is the end of the first quarter. Quick first quarter with all the running, but Bethel Park leads 13-7 over the Panthers. So I'm going to go back to Coach here. Coach, we got some time. Did you think about my question at all? And if so, will this lead into some type of segue about the 92s who are out on the field right now?
Well, let's just talk about the 92s for right now.
Well, they're doing the presentation right now of the 92s.
There's a video.
Which is extremely special.
There's a video playing that Lanny narrated. I don't know, 30 years ago, I guess. And so anyhow, they're going to introduce our 92 team that won the WPIL championship, and there's 2 distinguished naval officers down there. That Brian Drexler, who was inducted tonight in the Hall of Fame, and Ross Drenning. A little quick story. Ross invited me to his change of command ceremony in San Diego in 2017. And if you don't think I wasn't a proud coach, we were in a hangar and they flew those attack helicopters in. He flew his in, and what a thrill,
They're showing the highlights on the board right now from the 92 game. So we played North Allegheny at Three River Stadium. I was a freshman. I stormed the field after the game. And, I mean, it's just unbelievable. There's Mark Hondrew, who couldn't be here tonight because his son is one of the stars of South Fayette's football team. But, Coach, do you have any lasting memories? Mine is obviously Alan Hamrick up the middle for about 65 yards for the game winner. What are your lasting memories from that night?
Well, I also remember there was one of the worst calls in the history of high school football. They called pass interference on Pat Dunn, and he was in front of the receiver. I mean, it was ridiculous. But anyhow, no use dwelling on those negatives. These guys were a marvelous football team. I'm sure you remember this, Gavin. The state championship game was snowed out, and then we had to go back up to Altoona the next week. So I've said this many times. People worry about the length of season and the harm of the youth and all that stuff. We played in those days, Ryan. We played 10 games and then the playoffs. So if you count the 2 scrimmages, the 10 games and the 5 playoff games, we played 17 opponents in 18 weeks and finished up 6 days before Christmas. And these guys are all down there healthy and ready to play tonight, I think, if they were called upon.
Yeah, a lot of those guys look great, Coach. It brought back great memories. So many of those kids picked on me when I was a freshman because, I had an older brother in that grade, and they'd let me have it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved the attendance.
They've got a couple more activities planned this weekend. Golf at Lindenwood tomorrow, and then we're all going out to Pizzazz tonight.
It's one of those things. If you don't think sports is special, you haven't played it long enough.
Yeah.
These are your brothers for life. Here's Kai again. He's got a lot of room. Boy, that off tackle's been really effective so far. Moorhead knocks him out of bounds, but not before a 15-yard gain. And Harks, how would you adjust here? This doesn't look good for the Panthers. It seems like they're just gashing us.
It's almost a game of chicken here. Bethel's lining up, and they're in these condensed formations, and then they're getting to the outside. They're drawing the St. Clair defense in. There you saw a little toss crack. I'll be curious to see the adjustment, maybe if they move those backers out, do a little outside blitz or stunts, twists, whatever they can do to kind of keep that outside contained. It'd be an interesting adjustment because clearly Bethel has found something that's working for him.
And this is Kai again off tackle, and he's going to gash him again, get about 6 on first down. You're right. Do you think they found something on film, Harks? Is that your guess that they found something that they think would work and they're right? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. There's something in the game plan. They came in, they saw something that if we're in this formation, St. Clair's going to do this. What can we do to beat this? And pretty much what they're doing, they run these condensed formations. St. Clair's coming in, they're either bringing heavy pressure or they're bringing in 5 defensive linemen, and they're just beating them with speed to the outside.
Yeah, this is really interesting. All these seniors on the Panther defense, that they've not, this has not happened to them so far this year. So I will be very curious to see how they adjust. We got 2nd and 4 now. Their Hawks are in Panther territory and driving once again. Pfeiffer again, Kai again. And he's through at the point of attack. Banbury's there, but not before a 5-yard gain and a first down. And it's just sort of a variation of the same thing to different spots, different holes, but same result. They're getting 5-6 yards a gain minimum.
Yeah, I mean, the line of scrimmage is moving, and when you can't win if that's the case. If you're controlling the line of scrimmage, it's almost impossible to win. St. Clair neither needs to be stout at the point of attack or get some penetration and change momentum here.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is start committing numbers in, and then you're susceptible to all kinds of big plays.
Yep.
You do see linebackers creeping up a bit, but again, it's got to start at the point of attack here. First down for the Panthers. This is Gavin Mole. Nice job. Tyler Goney came in from the outside there, 43, the senior outside linebacker, and that's probably the most positive defensive play so far.
Every once in a while, something like that happens, and I think I know what I'm talking about. You saw Mark right in there kind of reset that line of scrimmage almost a yard, half a yard in the backfield, allow those linebackers to come in and clean it up. Really nice play up front by the boys.
Yeah, so, they're not, it doesn't appear that it's still their they're like 3-3-5 stack type thing, but they got like 5 linebackers now, sort of all up. Some of the quote safeties are. Oh, that's a nice. Oh boy, they couldn't bring him down though. They really played that well, but AC couldn't quite bring him down on the outside, and as a result, instead of a short gain, it's about a gain of 8. So it's going to be 3rd and 1. Boy, that was a big chance to get him in the backfield.
Yeah, and that looked like almost part of an adjustment for St. Clair. They're, like you said, they're in their 3-3-5, but they're bringing those outside backers off the edge almost into 52 or eagle, whatever you want to call it, and it seems that to be the adjustment, and you just got to make a play there.
So that's QB keeper, and that's going to be easy first down for the Hawks to the Panther 30, and a new set of down for the Panthers, or for the Hawks. So it looks better right now. I mean, it looks like they're getting some penetration and stuff, but no results just yet. I think tackling, which the Panthers have done a magnificent job this season tackling, but not as well tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something they're going to get cleaned up as the game goes on, but if there's any time.
Yeah. Well, these are big, strong kids. I will say that. Kai and Mole are both seniors. They are big, strong, physical backs. This isn't, your kind of quick scat backs that we've seen a lot of. They are going right at them. Oh, fumble the snap. And, boy, they got really fortunate there. Kai could not handle it, but he jumped on it, and it'll be a 2-yard loss. Yeah, it's interesting. Coach pointed out that they have Huffnagel on the sidelines. I wonder if it's basically they've taken almost their corner. I mean, they only have one corner out there right now. It looks like what they've done is bring in Tyler Goney as an extra safety hybrid linebacker like a bandit, and only having one corner, Gordon Groniger, in. So this is Kai again. He's off tackle. He's going to get another big gain. So, boy, every time they seem to think they're getting in a good situation there, they give up about an 8-9 yard gain. And that's instead of 3rd and long, we've got 3rd and 3.
Yep, regardless of what happened on 2nd down, though, you got to go next play, money down here, make a stop.
So this is a reasonably big play. You don't like to call these, must plays, anything in a first half of a football game, but the Panthers have got to show some signs of life here in terms of slowing them down a little bit, or it's the dam can break, and the Panthers have got to step up here. This is a big play.
Yeah, and like you pointed out, they made adjustments. Let's see if they work here.
So it's that end around again to Petrus this time. So, that's a great call by Delala. They sucked the guys in the middle, end around, misdirection, and that play has worked all 3 times they've run it.
Yep, they're adjusting. They're getting 5 guys up there in the line of scrimmage. There are 3 defensive linemen, and it looks like maybe 11 is that Ivory Travers. He's up, man up on a tight end, head up, and they have an outside linebacker on the outside kind of as their little adjustment. Maybe it's even 5-3 if you want to call it that, and still Bethel getting to the outside.
So 1st and 10 Hawks from the 15 here. Another fake. This is a little inside handoff, and not much there. Banbury, number 55, strong at the point of attack. He was very sick for last week's game. It was great to see him a little healthier this week.
A phenomenal player.
Oh, I think he's one of the best interior linemen I've seen. I'm not – what am I going to do gauging line play? But he just pops every game.
For sure.
So, okay, this is, I think, second down. Everybody talks about first down. I feel like second down is the key so far. They've started to get stops on first down, and then they're giving up 7-8 yards on second down. So, if the Panthers can get them in 3rd and long, we might be on to something, but it has not happened yet. So it looks like a timeout from the Blackhawks staff here. They sort of recognize where the momentum is, too, and going to talk it over. So I just received one of the great texts I've gotten so far. So I don't know how many times they've shown the booth. I know they like to show the booth on the camera in the breaks. I am, to support the the old school Panthers that are here, I am wearing a classic here. There it is. A classic Panther jersey like they wore in 1992. If you saw the video, this is the great Mac McCardle, the only number that is retired in school history. I just got a text from Mac McCardle. His son Beckett, who's an aspiring athlete himself, has good bloodlines, is wearing Mac's. Mine is the cropped one. He's wearing the non-cropped jersey that looks identical to the one you just saw. And I'm sure, Coach, I know Mac's one of your favorite, but I'm sure you love that long hair that Beckett's rocking too.
Well, I've seen better, but we're still going to keep the number 3 retired. So,
well deserved. I think anybody who saw Mr. McCardle play football knows well deserved. All right, so here we are, 2nd and 8. Kai wide again. Can't quite get him. He gets the corner again. He gets inside the 5 down to the 3. And it just seems to be a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah, another adjustment there from the Panthers, too. They're back out there 4-3 now instead of their typical 3-3-5. They went 5-2, 5-3. I mean, they're pretty much throwing it at the wall and seeing what'll stick here. And so far, Bethel Park's had an answer every single time.
Yeah, it's nothing so far, which I can't believe. When you've watched this team play every snap, as I have so far this season, this is just so uncharacteristic from what we've seen. Now, credit to Bethel. I am not being critical at all.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's just very surprising.
Yeah, definitely more so Bethel Park execution than anything St. Clair's doing.
This is Kai. Kai's in, no problem. Off tackle left, and the Hawks score again. Wow. 19-7, 6:05 to go in the second quarter, and so far the Panthers have no answers. I'll be very interested to see when the defensive coaches get together at halftime and try to figure out, what adjustments are necessary here to stop this tide. Fortunately, the Hawks kicking game hasn't looked super efficient so far, so hopefully that'll come into play at some point, not if you can't get stops, I guess.
Yeah, I don't even think the Blackhawks had one pass that drive. It was jet, toss sweep, ISO counter. I mean, every single inside, outside, left, right, it was all working for the Blackhawks on that drive.
Coach, I hate to make you work this evening because I know you've been all about the reminiscing, which I want you to do tonight, but anything you see out there that that you've seen that it might require some type of adjusting, something obvious?
Well, first of all, I think Bethel has been really shooting for this game, and they've had a very tough schedule with who they've played, and that running back is very good, as you know, but their line play is very good tonight, and they're hurting us inside, and then I've watched them double team the end, and
you have to bring in that receiver across.
Yep, that's why he's getting out there. So our hands we got our hands full.
So okay, that's a really interesting point. I've never even thought about that. So if you have a guy who's supposed to be in contain or whatever wide, and you have the wide receiver sort of cracking down or whatever, what do you do? What's the counter there? Do you have to bring sort of a safety up to sort of fill in that gap? What do you do?
Well, ideally, the linebackers can get out there to help. I haven't really watched to see if they're tying up those linebackers, but like on that jet sweep, they're freezing the linebackers with the inside fake, and they can't just fly out of there. You agree with that, Ryan?
Totally, Coach. I mean, I would never disagree with anything you say. You are always 100% right.
Yeah, right. So I could bring a few moms up.
Harks, is it a matter of every time they're hitting us up the middle, so we're bringing numbers up the middle, and then they're adjusting wide, and we're guessing wrong a lot, or is it just a chess match that we're losing?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of what Coach is saying. You get the linebackers and their eye discipline are all focused on what's going on in the backfield because you're getting gashed in the inside run. Obviously, you're faking the inside run up the middle. That's where their eyes are going to go. And then the next thing you know, outside, and you got a speedy receiver, speedy back, one-on-one in a corner or a safety, and that's a tough play to make. You could sign me up if I'm offensive coordinator. Sign me up.
How many times has Bethel thrown the ball tonight?
They didn't throw it once in that last drive. I think they've thrown it one time total.
The wheel route.
That's what worries me because they're run. Well, they're going to pull.
Then they're going to get that wheel route again.
Pretty soon.
This is even more extreme of a short kick. Hunter Schreck did a nice job fielding it. Oh, they blew it dead. It looked like. They blew it dead.
This will be an interesting
Bethel
call
thinks
here.
they have
I think that's the right call because he fielded it on his knee.
I agree.
You can't drill him when he's on his knee. He fielded on his knee.
If anything, it's got to be 15 for hitting the guy that was already down. I mean, it's not the NFL. It's not down by contact.
No, that was my point there. It'd be one thing in the pros if they aren't down, but it's. So, you hate to put a lot of the heat on the offense right now, but you feel like you need to score every time you touch the ball just to sort of keep the momentum honest. All right, so Panthers in more of a pass-looking formation, but here's JB again. Cuts it up, stays on his feet.
Run.
Good hard run. He's going to get about 4 or 5 there. Good job from the backside by Clancy Ori to make the play.
43 for Bethel is, don't you?
Well, I assume by the last name, so which Ori son is that?
That's Mike's.
No wonder.
And he's a good look. I've met the boy. He's a good look. He's only a sophomore. And
He's made a bunch of tackles already.
I think he might have recovered that early fumble.
Yeah. Good run by Jules off tackle left. Gets very close to the line of scrimmage. I think he's going to get it. He should. He crawled forward. Nice job by Jules.
Mike Ori, by the way, is terms of bloodlines. Mike Ori was a tremendous football player.
Well, how many Ori boys were there that played 4?
Yes. Mike, I'll tell you how good Mike was. He graduated from Cornell, I think. He played up there. And he went into the steel business the same as his dad. Go ahead, Gavin. I'll tell you the end of the story after this play.
Okay, Cornell. Hey, that's give a shout out to my man Luke Manberry, who's playing middle linebacker there right now. But yeah, the Ori's football royalty here. 1st and 10. This is JB off tackle left. He's got some room here. Good block from Besselman on the corner, and that should be almost another first down. Maybe he is. So go ahead, Coach.
Well, what I was going to tell you, he went in the steel business right out of college. A year later, the Miami Dolphins called him and wanted him to come to camp. I mean, how often does that happen?
Almost never.
I would think never.
Like. Yeah.
Not with Upper St. Clair kids. Pretty incredible, yeah. And obviously, Kevin Ori, Pat Ori, these were very good athletes. I mean, hell, Kevin Ori was a professional baseball player. Fakes it to JB up the middle. And that's unfortunately there was an exchange issue, and then Jules couldn't handle it.
Yeah, it seemed like a little RPO there, Gav, and the quarterback. I think you were either reading the backside safety or backside corner, and maybe the receiver didn't get his eyes around. Maybe quarterback second guessing there. It's a tough situation, and when you run these run pass options, these easy access throws, you put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and stuff like that can happen. But I do give Coach Junko a lot of credit. He's still sticking to their game plan, sticking to the run, and so far into that play, it's been working.
Yeah, I mean, it was 2nd and 1. Now it's 3rd and 6. But you may be in 4-down territory given the way the game is going, given where you're on the field. Nice move by JB. Boy, that's just a tremendous run. He was hit in the backfield there, was hit multiple times, still banged forward and got 5, and it's going to make it 4th and 1, which I think is a much more tenable situation to go for it.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, just physical run.
So 3:28 to go in the second quarter, and the Panthers, it would behoove them obviously to get some points here. Here's Jules up the middle. Boy, this is going to be close.
He got it.
Well, it's funny.
It's got to be this bottom ref has to be the spot.
Yeah, well, if it's the bottom ref, they're probably in good shape. If it is the top ref, they are not. I always laugh because I think these spots are so inexact.
It's ridiculous. Not to criticize an official. I've never done that and will never.
It isn't even that. I just think the process is inexact. With all the technology you have, yeah. I mean, with the technology you have, you're telling me you couldn't put a chip in a football that marks the furthest point.
Oh, they most definitely can.
Like, it's just amazing to me.
Now we're going to run our chains out here.
Yeah, like with all the technology we have, this is still part of the game. It's just amazing to me.
Duties.
Oh, I know.
They already have that chip in the football.
I've talked to him about all this technology stuff. We need more Helmrich. Uh-oh. He did not make it. That is a huge, huge, huge play. And with 3:17 to go in the second quarter, the Panthers are in the danger zone here, Harks.
Yeah, most definitely, but I still think you got to get the boys in the huddle there on defense, and you got to say, hey, listen, this play now, that last play happened, it's over with. We got to kind of flip the script here. Let's get a stop.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big drive because you're down 2 scores already. Bethel gets the ball to start the second half, and this game isn't going to go slowly. They're running the ball every play. The clock is moving very fast. You get down 3 scores in this game, this game may be over. I mean, there's not that many possessions.
Yeah, and again, you're seeing Bethel come out condensed formation. Great job there by 33. Is that Aiden?
Yeah, Con blew the play up in the backfield, and then Shea Moorhead, the senior middle linebacker, number 34, came in and laid the boom. Nice play, probably the best play so far on a wide
you saw
play.
Exactly what Coach, I mean, he does know what he's talking about sometimes, but you saw the receiver kind of come in. Aiden maintained outside leverage, kept his outside arm free, and then let the crew come and clean it up.
So 2nd and 10 here. And, the Bethel's in no hurry here. The way they've gained yards, I don't think the clock is really an issue right now. Plus, with a 13-point lead, of course they're in no hurry. Pfeiffer, here's Kai up the middle, and they got a big surge there at the line, but they still couldn't bring him down. Ivory Travers filled in the hole, and he still got about 3. Harks, I got to give Kai credit. They got him in the backfield again. They're getting hands on him. He is not going down on first contact very much.
Definitely. Yeah, great hard run, but definitely a positive sign if you're the Panthers. You're kind of taking it to them now. You're reestablishing that line of scrimmage after frankly, in the early part of the game, they were getting pushed, knocked 2 yards off the ball.
So 3rd and 6 here, probably the longest third down of the night here for the Hawks. Let's see if they throw the ball or they will be satisfied to run it again with Kai. Now there's a empty set. They're going wide. It's going to be a screen to Kai. Here comes Ivory downhill.
Play.
Nice play. Travers and Besselman. Ty Lagoni blows it up. I wonder if Coach will use a timeout here. He does. With 1:53 to go, the Panthers use their first timeout, and it's a huge stop. It's a huge stop for multiple reasons. Again, we talked about they couldn't let the score get any further out of hand. The other thing is you get the ball back, and with Aiden Besselman on the field and, Huffnagel, Marn, some of those receivers they have, I think you got a green light here.
Yeah, most definitely. And, given – we'll see where they end up here, but
who knows in the punting game,
yeah,
too.
exactly. I was just going to say high school punting game, it's not exactly the most exact science. So.
No, the Panthers were so blessed to have Ethan Heister the past couple of years who just bombed punts, but that is the exception rather than the rule. I will say Mount Lebanon's punter last week was unbelievable. He was fabulous. He was booming 45, 50-yard punts with hang time. You didn't know where to go against him because he was hitting them 40, 45 yards, but directional too. Incredible.
It's a weapon at every level. You see it all the way up through the NFL, but truly in high school, it can be, the kicking game can be your best friend or it can be your worst enemy.
Oh, absolutely. And having one at this level is super cool to watch.
Definitely.
Just like Bennett is in the kicking game for St. Clement. He's one of the best high school kickers I've seen. And it's a huge weapon for the Panthers in terms of kickoff, field position, and certainly being able to kick field goals from almost anywhere. So the Panthers right now are in a more conventional sort of defense, but now they're switching up, and Ty Lagoni's going to go back and kick and be the returner. Gavin Mole is actually the punter as well, which I love.
That's awesome.
He can do it all. It's amazing how good athletes are just good at everything. Oh. And it's a nice punt. He turns it over. It's nice and high. Directional, it bounces, and it's going to go out of bounds at about the 26 for the Panthers. So that's reasonable field position with $1:42 to go here in the first half.
Yeah, especially the way St. Clair plays. That's more than reasonable. Man, they had a free runner there, but I think it might have been Ivory Travers kind of trying to get through the line. St. Clair had a free runner, and they almost collided into each other about 2 yards in the backfield. They would have had a chance to get after that punt.
So Harks, what do you look for here? Do you look for try to again go long to Best, see if they can stop it? Do you look at some intermediate stuff, some 10 yards, some slants? What are you thinking here?
I think you almost have to treat it like a basketball game. We got to get our best players in the areas where they can make a play. And I mean, like we've been saying, I think that's getting number 4 and number 7 the football. So
here's Jamal again. Oh, no, oh, boy, that was very close. Mole almost absolutely stole the ball.
Yeah, I think he might have got his little hand warmer there.
So unfortunately for the Panthers, time is ticking. I'm guessing they thought they'd catch him off guard there and try to get a big chunk on first down. But, clock is certainly a factor here running. 2nd and 6 for the Panthers. Here's Jules again. So
big hole.
So big gain there for Jules. That's going to be a first down and get a temporary clock stoppage. But maybe they were just looking for that first down, get a clock stop, and now you're in a better field position to go vertical.
Well, you get in a situation, you pass the first 3 times, and there's only a minute and 45 seconds left on the clock. You run 6 seconds off the clock. Bethel Park has 2 timeouts left. So,
interesting point. I did not think about that. Here's Jules back to throw. Looking wide. This is Ori on the corner stopping him. He's trying to throw it. He just throws it away. Probably a smart play. And, Coach was pointing out Clancy Ori, the sophomore, number 43, and he did a great job containing on the outside and forcing, you want to keep Jules in the pocket and make him a pocket passer. They did a good job there.
Definitely a smart play by Dallin there. You saw St. Clair, receiver actually went out of bounds, then came back inbounds to make a play. He is not allowed to touch that football. So very smart play. He was wide open, but you saw he kind of ate it because you're taking a penalty there if you're throwing at them.
Yeah, you love to see a sophomore quarterback with that type of poise live to fight another day. Sometimes the young guys can be guilty of trying to do too much, and Jules did a nice job there. 52 seconds left here, 2nd and 10. Panthers still in their own territory. Jules is back to throw. He's hanging it up for Huffnagel.
Oh,
great catch.
throw.
Did you see him get that right foot down? That's a corner route. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch for Huff.
Man, that was a Saturday throw and a Saturday catch right there. I'll tell you what, that was a phenomenal play. Great protection by the guys up front, and great throw in a little zone hole there.
So now with 46 seconds left in Hawk territory, I think the tack probably shifts a little bit. You do have a great kicker, but maybe instead of 3, you might be thinking 6 now. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful stuff from Jules to Huff. Here's Jules again. He's going to run. And the helmet comes off, but he gets nothing there. Panthers are going to have to use a timeout, I think. Yeah, that was Ori again. The helmet comes off.
That was a stick.
Yeah, he got popped. It's interesting. This is where I would struggle so much as a coach. Coach Junk has really stayed true to his, what they want to do here. They've stayed on the ground, and they've done their ball control, and they're being patient. For me, I just have this tendency to, a bomb worked once, we have Besselman, we're going to chuck it, and they haven't done that, and that's probably why he's winning so many football games this year.
Yeah, I think it's a true testament. You work all week on your game plan, your strategy going into the game. You don't want to panic and throw it away just because you're down a couple scores. That stuff you want to save for halftime. Let's get into halftime, kind of readjust. But what they have in the ground game has been working to an extent so far. You saw, they're getting Aiden open down the field on the one play. Stick to it for now, and if you want to make adjustments, save that for half.
You have to be very impressed with the front on both sides of the ball for Bethel Park. Nobody's done as good of a job against the Panthers on both sides of the ball this year. Even Mount Lebanon, who's always very big and strong, 6A school, did not do this stout of a job at the point of attack. Del Duca, 55, has been very strong, 99. Le Moliniere, it's just very, very strong. And obviously we've talked about Curry and Ori. So here's Dallin, back to throw. Got a lot of time. Now he's running out of time. He's rolling to right. Does he see the man? He does. Here comes Jules. He got a lot of space. He's going to get the first down, I think, and get out of bounds. Close enough, although the downs aren't really quite as important here, but it is a first down all the way to the Hawks 33. Panthers still do have a timeout left here with 31 seconds left, so that's something to think about.
And another thing, continue to monitor as we get into halftime. St. Clair's done a really good job of protecting the passer, other than there's one sack down here on their other 40-yard line. They've been really good in pass pro. We talked about the Blackhawks front kind of stopping them in the run game. Maybe a little shift coming out of half.
Yeah, absolutely. They've done a really good job in pass protection all year. They don't throw it a ton, but the Big Hogs have done a really good job. Here's Jules rolling left. He's got Besselman on the out, underthrown, not quite there. That's He must love to throw that. That must be what he's comfortable with. They do a lot of that stuff rolling left. You'd think that would be really hard for a righty.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Usually the righties like to roll right, but even our Steelers' very own now, Kenny Pickett, he actually said he likes rolling to the left and throwing that way. I mean, you see, I guarantee you'll see it on Sunday because they're very simple. It's an offense there, but yeah, it's unique for a right-handed quarterback to like it to throw in left, but also it's a very simple read, two-man read, one-side read for the quarterback. I love the play call there, Coach.
It's been a highly successful play for them this year. I have to ask Jules when I see him next. That must be sort of his comfort play. All right, Jules is back again. They sent another guy here, but Jules has time. Oh, it was a little behind Huff. He just waited a little. That's a tough pass to sort of get in the hole of the zone, but a pretty good chance there. Not quite there, a little behind him, but 3rd and 10.
Yeah, you said it right. Good job by Huffnagel, maneuvering through the middle of that zone defense, finding a spot. Good throw. I mean, could a little bit more on target, but still, I mean, they're finding holes out there, and they're making some progress in this drive for sure.
Absolutely. So, the Panthers have 3rd and 10 here, and these are the situations where, again, I don't envy coaches, but like, part of you says, okay, do we need a first down here? This is when we go over the top, and part of me says, get your 10, use your timeout, and
I mean, they're giving it to you down here at the bottom. I mean, the dude's 15 yards off Besselman. I think that's easy access, throw it right to him and go make a play.
Do you think, and that's what the timeout was, do you think they saw Panthers formation and didn't like that because of that?
I would venture to guess that would be one of the reasons. Also, Bethel, I mean, can't take them home with you. Coach Holzer might not believe that, but
well, to be fair, and I will get into that, the timeouts are cumulative in basketball.
Okay.
Yeah, there are 5 total in basketball.
But still, I think.
Oh, no, Holzer ends the game with 5 timeouts every game.
I think he gets $100 for every one that he.
I think Holzer has used a first half timeout maybe 3 times in the 22 years I've been coaching with him.
I got a comment.
Oh, I love this.
I used to watch Bobby Knight. I mean, the guy was a great basketball coach. He rarely called timeout. I mean, his theory was, I prepared him all week, and I expect him to play, and I'm not going to signal that I'm upset or I'm in a panic mode by using timeouts.
I say the same thing. All right, here's Jules. Oh, QB draw, great call, lots of room. He gets all the way to about the 18-yard line. That's a beautiful call. So Coach Junk came up with a dandy there. So are they going to clock it here or what? 13, 12, they're going to have to be quick. Yeah, they're going to clock it. So we got 9 seconds left, and I think, Clarks, this probably gives you one more play. We have a timeout left, and then, this is plenty range for Bennett.
Yeah, good job getting up there and clock the ball. You don't want to burn the timeout there. It usually takes 12 seconds to get the emergency kicker on the field and kind of emergency field goal. But so good job there getting the ball clock, saving that timeout for the field goal.
So is this end zone for you?
It has to be. I mean, I feel like it has to be.
I don't think Coach Junk is thinking field goal. I think he wants to get it in.
And you have 2 very tall, rangy receivers. Huff's not a small guy either, but Cody Martin and Aiden Besselman are 2 big, athletic guys. If you're going to throw sort of a jump ball, they're playing bump on Cody at the top of the screen. I wouldn't be surprised if you look for him. And there it is. Here's Cody Martin right there. And look at him. He mossed him. What a play by number 5, the senior Cody Martin. He mosses him at the end of the half. That is just unbelievable. I called that one. Give me that. With 4 seconds left in the half, Cody Martin with just one of the great catches you'll see.
Like you said, Gav, great call by you. Kudos to you. Manned up on the outside.
Maybe you ought to give up basketball and start strategizing football.
I'd like to think I'm even better at hoops, but I think there's a lot of people who might disagree with that. So here's Henderson on, and boy, is that a massive play. Bring it within 6, 20-14 with 4 seconds to go. So the reason I said that, Harks, is this. Cody's a basketball player. I've coached him for. So we were playing North Hills last year, and we were getting beat pretty good. Mm-hmm. We stick Cody in the game towards the end of the game, and North Hills has a kid who's being recruited by everybody, about 6'8", 6'9".
The big guy, yep.
Yeah. Cody drives baseline and just hammers a dunk. I mean, one of the best dunks I've seen in school history. And I looked at him. Cody's a really quiet kid, kind of a shy, laid-back kid. And I said, Cody, where has that been? That was unbelievable. And, he just sort of smiled at me. So his AAU coach, Jay Sekernick, had him all summer. And Jay said, that dunk you saw last year, there are going to be a lot of those this year. Cody's about 6'3", 6'4". But the thing that Cody has that is surprising is he doesn't. It's not like he has like unbelievable lateral quickness. He just vertical jump quick and high. And you saw it. I mean, the D-back was in perfect position. He just stole it from him. They call that the moss, right, Harks? Is that what the hip guys call it?
Yeah, I mean, you almost, you like we say, you turn the 50-50 ball into a 60-40 or 70-30 ball. And, I mean, with a player like that who can go high point, go get the ball, like go and get a rebound in basketball, or going up and going up against contact and making a layup.
What a momentum shift. So Henderson's going to go short here as we sort of meander to the end of the first half. They're going to pick it up. They're going to try to go wide. He's got a little bit of room. Gordon Groniger, 41, pushes him out of bounds. And Huffnagel probably pushes him extra out of bounds, but I don't think it was hard enough to warrant a penalty. And that is going to be the end of the first half. So a lot of fireworks in the half. Not the best defensive first half of the Panthers, but a big play from Dallum to Marn brings the score to 20-14 at halftime. And we're going to let the pride of the Panthers take it from here. We will be back to you for the third quarter. Thank you.
Please stand up and clap along as the Black Hawk Marching Band performs their signature drill, Hot Time in Bethel Victory, a Bethel Park tradition for over 50 years.
Let's give it up once more to the Bethel Park Blackhawk Marching Band. Good evening. Before the Upper St. Clair Marching Band halftime show begins, we would like to introduce the 2022 Upper St. Clair Halls of Fame inductees. These men and women have all contributed to the pride and prestige of Upper St. Clair High School in the areas of academics, arts, and athletics. And they mark the 22nd class to be inducted into the Upper St. Clair High School's Halls of Fame. Let's recognize our newest class. Representing academics, Natalie Hernandez de Palma, class of 1996. Douglas Gibson, class of 1983. Matthew A. Lentz, class of 2006. Lisa R. Volpati, class of 2009. Representing the arts, Stacy Chabosky, class of 1991. Stephen Klink, class of 1998. Stephanie Maloney, class of 2006. And representing athletics, Dakota Conwell, class of 2012. Brian Drexler, class of 1993. Kyle Dazinski, class of 2011. John Mascaro, class of 1985. And Robbie Mertz, class of 2015. Let's give our inductees a warm applause. And now, the band will perform 3 movements from its Believe 22 halftime show. Don't Stop Believing, the 81 top 10 sensation by American rock band Journey. And Believer, 2017 hit made famous by Imagine Dragons. And Stevie Wonder's 1973 smash hit, Don't You Worry About a Thing. The band is under the field direction of drum major Carter Chu. Drum major, is your band ready to perform? St. Clair. On behalf of the staff and students of the Panther Marching Band, we would like to thank you for your ongoing support of band and all the performing arts programs in our schools.
All right, so we're starting the second half here pretty soon as the clock is winding down. Harks, give me some general thoughts on the first half.
Well, I mean, I think we talked about it a lot throughout that half, but Bethel Park for the first quarter and a half of the first half established the line of scrimmage on the offensive and defensive sides, and you kind of saw in the end of that second quarter some signs of life from Upper St. Clair. And I think now coming out of half, I've been in many situations on both sides of the coin. You almost feel better if you're Upper St. Clair. You kind of might think you're dead men walking. You get that sign of life at the end of the half. You come out with a ton of energy. Bethel Park, you're like, dang, we should be up 20-7 right now, and then you're not. So I think it's going to be a very interesting start to the second half here.
Well, that was my next question, actually. So I've always been a believer that in basketball, which is my only real experience, that momentum can carry over from a halftime. Do you believe momentum can carry over, the end of the second half into a third quarter?
Oh, absolutely, 110%. I think that's a thing. If you come into the locker room, it's the taste in your mouth after the last play or the last sequence of plays, the last drive, and all you're thinking of your Bethel Park is, man, that pass. I mean, if we just made one play there, it's 27 and we can come out, we get the ball to start the half, and we can come out and score, and game's over. I mean, game could be over at that point. And you're St. Clair, you're thinking, hey, we scored, stop, score. It's almost like basketball. You're thinking stop in a bucket. Now you're St. Clair's the.
Look at this great tweet from the great Nick Tucci, the educated Nick Tucci, who's heading to Columbia for grad school.
Most definitely.
Says we need these two calling Sunday night football games. That's a pretty big praise, Coach. What do you think? What do you think about that? Harks and I for Sunday night football?
I'm in. I'll be your spotter.
I would love that. Anything to get you to come along, I'm for. So, Coach.
Hey,
go ahead.
Excuse me. I thought they were going to introduce those Hall of Famers at halftime.
They did.
Where was I?
I don't know. On the phone?
Where were the Hall of Famers lined up?
I don't know. I couldn't see the balloon
we were looking
arch.
for that, yeah.
There's usually a balloon arch. When I was inducted, which, yes, ladies and gentlemen, unbelievably enough, I was inducted into the Academic Hall of Fame.
Upper St. Clair Hall of Famer,
yeah,
Gavin Williams.
Hold your applause. There was a balloon arch. It was nice. Coach was still coaching.
Well, they only did that year because you were getting inducted.
You think that's why?
Is that when the cheerleaders escorted you through the arch?
They did. And it was funny. It's. I've always said that's an award for longevity. I was around long enough, so they threw me a bone. But I can say that the inductees this year were legit, unbelievable inductees. I mean, unbelievable.
How about those academic people and their graduate accomplishments?
It's just ridiculous. Every time, I'm on the committee now. Every time I get these resumes, I laugh and say to my mom, "How on earth did I get in this Hall of Fame?" You've been people like curing diseases. And you had an attorney tonight who, was Harvard, Yale, probably one of the top guys in his field. It's just you laugh. I'm a high school basketball coach. It's amazing. It's amazing. Glenn Ward, if anybody deserves to be in here for doing all this stuff, it's you. I wouldn't have any broadcasting life whatsoever if it wasn't for you. Although some people might actually blame you for this. I'm getting a lot of great texts about this jersey, by the way. Got one from Lauren Anderson, my man, class of 97. Josh Helmrich, thanks for calling the games. Hey, Coach, Josh is tuning in.
Thanks for the text.
Even Jeff Gaughan, my boss. Thanks, Jeff. I know you're excited to hear Harkle Road. I know that has to be your motivation to.
Well, yeah, his favorite player ever. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Coach, I have to ask. So you've coached in so many rivalry games. Were there any these big rivalry games, the Lebo, Bethel Park type games that really stand out to you? Ones that were just crazy, intense.
We beat Bethel in a playoff game over at West Mifflin one night in overtime.
I was at that game.
I like that.
How about the one where Repeshak blocked the extra
point against Mount Lebanon? Mm-hmm. That's a great call. I didn't look. I remember McKinney and I were standing there, and I ducked my head almost in his shoulder. I was looking south, and that kick was over here.
And guys, I'm not exaggerating about this, and I know you know this, and some of the viewers, I hope, recognize this, that you talk about this stuff the rest of your life. I run into all my Lebo buddies, all my Bethel buddies. We talk about basketball, football, baseball games from, 1994. We remember stupid little plays. That's just what guys do.
For sure.
I don't have any Lebo buddies.
Well, we talked about that last week. That used to be just the most vicious, crazy rivalry,
Yeah.
and now it's more like sort of a begrudging respect. The kids know each other. They play on a lot of different teams together,
Yeah.
AAU and travel baseball and things like that. So it's not quite the same level of hatred.
I've got a lot of great memories. I mean, the stadiums, theirs and ours, were packed. And those crowds aren't near what they are then.
No, we've had some really good crowds here. Peters was an enormous
Yes,
crowd.
yeah.
We have.
I'm not downplaying it, but one night, both sides, we were playing Mount Lebanon, and both sides were jammed. And there was a storm came in and cleared the stadium. And we eventually played the second half, but it was sparse.
Like the game the lights went out. One of my favorites, the North Hills playoff game. All right, so let's start here. We got a kickoff. Oh, it does hit
nice
and go
kick.
back into play. That ended up being perfect, and his knee was on the ground when he touched the ball. And so a little bit lucky maybe, but whatever. The field position is fabulous. So this is a big series. Let's not underestimate this first series because it's sort of reflective of the adjustments that the coaches make. I always say, and this was another Coach Render plug, not because he's here. It seemed like regardless how the first half went, the first part of the third quarter was always like unbelievable in the Jim Render era. And it's what we preach, Coach Holzer and myself, the first 4 minutes of the third quarter. Huge.
Yeah, for sure. It's a game within the game.
So here's Kai again. And it's just they're having a hard time bringing him to the ground. They had good penetration again there by Lagoni, but he couldn't tackle him. As a result, he got about 6. Austin Kai had 101 yards rushing in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, that's no joke. That's big-time football right there. And, again, hopefully St. Clair can bow up and make some stops there. Like you said, good job reestablishing the line of scrimmage. Just got to finish now.
I don't think they'd allowed a 100-yard rusher all season, and then to give one up and a half is it's jarring. So here he goes. Pfeiffer's going to throw here. It's a screen to the outside. It's Kai again. Nice job moving laterally by number 34, Shea Moorhead, the senior middle linebacker, and they forced the third down. That was a nice stop.
Yeah, it's a big play. I mean, stating the obvious here for the Panthers, but huge play. Let's see what Bethel Park draws up here.
I was a little surprised to see a pass there, even though it was an obvious sort of screen ball control type
Yeah, almost
pass.
an extension of the run game there. But, yeah, it's the success they've had in those condensed formations and running the ball inside and outside. I'm kind of shocked that we see them go away from that so early in the second half.
Absolutely, and really, this is going to be really. Oh, so they're going to go wide again. Here's Kai. Panthers trying to duck inside. Oh, he got just annihilated on the boundary, but I think he picked up the first. I think he just got to the first stick.
Yeah, and just as I quasi-criticized Coach DeLallo there from going away from what was working, he comes out on third down, a big money down, condensed formation, that toss sweep that's been working so well for the Blackhawks.
All right, so not bad though. I mean, that was a tough. They made it a little more difficult, and maybe if you can continue to do that, you're going to start to see Bethel have to adjust back.
Yep, here we go, little cat and mouse here from Bethel.
Yeah, they're
seeing what St. Clair's coming out and looking to the sideline.
Yeah, look, they're tight inside again. Kai going off tackle, ducks below, does a good job getting low, but good job. So Ivory Travers, number 11, the linebacker, and Timmy Spear, number 17, all sort of came to the ball, held him to maybe a 2-yard gain there.
Same thing we talked about in the entire first half there. 55, Mark Banbury reestablishing the line of scrimmage, forcing the back a little bit outside for his backers to come clean it up. Good team defense there for the Panthers.
So we've got about 2nd or 7 and 8. And, the Bethel's in no hurry, obviously. You got a lead. They've been very comfortable sort of ground and clock staying on the ground here. See if Panthers can get them in a 3rd and long. They fake it. Good little screen to the outside to Curry. Oh, that's a really nice play to get off the block by Lagoni and get him to the ground. Still about a 3 or 4 yard gain, so it's going to be another 3rd and 3, but pretty good. That could have been a bigger game.
It could have been a very big play. They had looked like Besselman locked up their receiver, nice block on the edge, and great job keeping the outside arm free and making a play.
Yeah, so they've thrown twice here. That's twice as many times they threw in the first half. Maybe it's they're starting to sense the Panthers sucking guys forward, or maybe it's just keep trying to element of surprise, Arcs.
Yeah, they're passing a little. Maybe they're trying to set something up with these short passes. Maybe they're going to do a little screen and go here.
It's Kai again, off tackle, easy. So every time it seems like they suck those guys inside, he just gets to the outside, whether it's contain or I don't know what it is, but very
yeah, big
good
35,
stuff.
Gavin Mulder is the wing back, and I mean, Coach Render talked a little bit about that kind of like wing or slot receiver coming down and washing the outside down and creating a big seam outside, something we saw in the first half continuing in the second half.
So unfortunately, that's going to be an offsides on Aiden Kahn, and that's going to give him 5 yards. Now, if Panthers can't afford that, they haven't been able to get him in long situations anyway. You cannot afford to be giving him extra yards. So now it's obviously 1st and 5, and the playbook is probably more open up. If I'm Bethel, I'm not sure I take any chances, but if there was ever a chance to sort of do something creative and throw the ball down the field, this may be it, knowing you can probably get 5 yards in a play or two. Quite an exotic shift there. 3 guys shifting. Now this is Kai again going off tackle
nice
left.
Play.
Oh, what a beautiful play by number 4, Aiden Besselman. You wish that was 1st and 10 because he got a big loss there of about 2 or 3. And that's the first time I've seen Best shoot the gap. Now he's got a little bit of quickness that some of the guys don't have. Maybe that's a strategy to use.
Yeah, great play. It looks like that might have been an adjustment from the Panthers there, kind of, hey, listen, they're going to leave us man up on the corner on the safety. We got to shoot that gap and go make a play at the line of scrimmage.
So, loss of about 2. This is going to be 2nd and 7 instead. And, at the very least, the Panthers are offering up a little more resistance now, making it a little more difficult. And, hey, Bethel has not turned it over. They've had pretty good ball control, so you got that possibility too. Here's that same play that's worked significantly on the end around, and Petrus again has it, cuts inside, gets about 4. So it's going to be 3rd and 2 again. This has not been a situation where the Panthers have had much success in so far. Harks, is there a situation here where you would just totally sell out? Maybe not a 3rd and 1, but or are you worried about if they guess wrong, all of a sudden it's to the house?
Yeah, I think there's going to have to become a point in time in the game where if you have a must stop, you might need to zero blitz them up front. But I think for now you kind of have to stick with your base defense and go from there and make adjustments off that.
Yeah, because, they're shooting gaps a little bit, but, even on a 3rd and 1 situation like that, they're getting 5 yards.
Yeah, they're finding seams for sure. It's not as like we saw in the first half where they're just getting pushed and kind of running up there up the middle. They're just kind of finding those seams, playing the game. St. Clair's doing a good job of getting penetration, but Bethel doing an even better job of kind of making them miss in the backfield and getting up the field.
Yeah, this is so interesting. This is, again, where, I wish I knew a little bit more about football because I wish I had something to suggest or something to try to figure out, but very impressive job by the entire Bethel staff, really. Their scheme has been outstanding. All right, Pfeiffer here. There's Kai. He did juggle at that time, but
nice
good
play.
job, Aiden Kahn. But look at him.
Still falling forward 3 yards, yeah.
He's doing a great job. If they're making contact in the backfield, which they are, and he's still getting 3, at some point, that's the kid. That's the kid just
For
doing
sure.
a really good job, forward,
Most
lean,
definitely.
strong.
Yeah, St. Clair back into it again. They got 11. Ivory Travers back up, man up on the tight end, kind of playing a little rover position there. And they got the 53 front trying to stop that inside run. But still, they had him stuffed in the backfield and 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7.
Yeah, so Gavin Moore had to come off the field there. I don't know if his helmet came off or something, but he hadn't been off the field very much. So hopefully they can take advantage of not having that monster out there. Looks like that screen wide again. No, it's an end around. This is Petrus. And, they couldn't quite get him to the ground. Lagoni had a chance there, but couldn't quite get him. But not a bad play. But again, it's in that 3rd and 4 range now that the Panthers have not had a whole lot of success in. This is probably 4-down territory, no less.
Yeah,
with
most
where they are on
definitely.
the
You're
field.
getting in 3rd and manageable. Maybe even see, and we talked about the Park doing a little bit of misdirection. They've ran a couple of those, maybe little screens, short passing, easy access passing game. Maybe a little pump and go here, a little screen and go. We'll see. That worked for them on the first or second drive of the game where they hit for the wheel route. So maybe something. See if they go into their bag of tricks on what is most definitely 4-down territory.
And one thing we discussed earlier, Harks, about feeling like you have to score. There's only 5:40 left in the 3rd quarter. These drives.
They're bleeding the clock.
Absolutely, because it's all run. Hits Kai wide again. And they just, whatever we do in terms of pushing guys in, they just seem to guess the opposite.
Yep,
We
they're
push
caving in
guys
the
up
edge with
middle.
that bunch formation and then just getting outside. And like Coach said, they're holding them with a little motion in the backfield, a little motion up front by the offensive line. But once they get that outside, there's openings all over the place.
So Tyson Swigert checking in, number 19. So, I'm not sure whether the thought is he's going to be the guy to sort of hold the corner or what, but it just seems like they are really trying to search for answers here on the defensive side of the ball. We haven't seen Jamal Brown much on the defensive side of the ball. I know he's got a little bit he's banged up a little bit. I don't know if they're saving him for offense. This is Kai. He juggled it a little bit, but nice, again, he did a nice little dance step to his right, and all of a sudden, instead of, a 1-yard gain, he's getting 3 to 4 every single time.
Yeah, I mean, so far, phenomenal rutting for Bethel Park, and especially both their two backs are playing a great game.
Yeah, so it's even with the numbers they have right now, it seems like they're getting the gap wrong.
Yeah, not necessarily a game of they're getting caved in at the line of scrimmage, more so that you're seeing good plays from backs that are finding the scheme, finding the hole, finding the gap.
So we got 2nd and 6 here, 4:15 and counting in the third quarter. Now it's going to be a Bethel Park timeout. So I don't know if they saw something they didn't like a look, or just.
We're about to find out right now.
Coach, what's up?
I have to, I guess, admit, you guys know how much respect I have for the running game. And I think Coach DeLallo's being his own man over there.
For sure.
There's a lot of coaches that are copycats, and they want to run the spread, and they want to do all these passes and so forth. I have to respect Coach DeLallo and their scheme. And, of course, that running back is doing a great job, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, Coach, it's funny. I laugh all the time because I'm uber aggressive and I love chucking the ball around, but I would never throw the football if they couldn't stop the run. So much less bad can happen.
We've got some distinguished, you call this play, then
It's going to be this end around again. Now he's going to throw. This is Nuttridge. He used to be a quarterback. He throws it. Wow. So Huffnagel was in great position to pick that off, but the receiver did an excellent job. I think that was Petrus of sort of playing defensive back, and he almost
ran
the
route.
Himself.
Yeah, Huffnagel almost ran the route for them for, great play, great heads-up play, and, even better play about the park.
I should have mentioned that Nuttridge, number 2, is their starting receiver, used to be a quarterback, so that's what that
I got a text, Gavin. I'm getting grief for not saying hello to my son, Eric, in New York, and his family, his wife, Zoe, my grandchildren, George and June, and so you're right. We have more watchers and viewers than I knew about.
Oh, it's shocking.
Hello, Eric.
What's up? I got to hang out with JT at dinner, which was a lot of fun. Here's Kai again. He's going out wide, and look at him push the pile. So he's going to get about 5. The problem is it's probably 4th and 1, and it's close enough where they've QB sneaked, and we've had no answer for it. So
wouldn't be shocked if we see that again here.
No, I wouldn't either, because it is. I mean, we're talking maybe less than a yard here. I wonder if they're going to do that quick snap again.
Oh, they moved, yep.
Oh, that's a big play. The left tackle did not get set and moved.
Yeah, luckily they tried to quick snap it, and when the tight end kind of came up next to the tackle, spooked him a little bit and got a little movement. It's sometimes when you're up front in those quick snap situations, you're just kind of sitting there waiting for first movement to barrel ahead, and it looked like got a little antsy there.
Well, you like the quick snap, obviously, because the defense isn't ready, but at the same time, there you're seeing the downside. So.
Yep.
So this is going to be interesting. I don't think there's any chance Bethel Park's going to punt, judging by where they are on the field and how easily they've moved the ball tonight. But this is a huge play for St. Clair. I mean, they've not touched the ball yet in the third quarter.
They've been on the field for 12 minutes, and if they get a stop here,
So he's throwing. It's Pfeiffer. He's running out of time. Here comes Van Helman chasing him, the sophomore. There's nobody there. Great coverage by the Panthers. Ty Lagoni, number 43, the senior, as well as Jake Huffnagel, 10, had great coverage, bracketing the receiver on the outside. Huge momentum shift for the Panthers, and boy, that is beautiful stuff.
Monstrous momentum shift. We talked about it coming out of half, how St. Clair was going to have the momentum. Bethel did a really great job of taking it back with just squeezing the football down, 12-minute drive nearly, but hey, bend don't break. St. Clair came up with a huge play when it mattered. And, frankly, took advantage of the Park mistake. Oh, no. Sorry. Yeah, thanks, Coach. I know you always have my back there. So 9-minute drive.
So here's JB again, who he should be nice and fresh because, again, he's not playing on the defensive side. Boy, that was a really hard cut he made. He gets about 13 or 14. Big Marcus Fennell, number 75. He just pushed his guy way out, and he cut inside of him. Big gain for the Panthers.
Yeah, much smarter, better looking, and better football player than his older brother, I'll tell you that.
That is what we need on these broadcasts. That is exactly what we need on these broadcasts. So fake the end around. It's JB again. And unfortunately, it looks like he sort of tripped over. It might have been his own lineman. He still gets about 3 or 4, but that could have been a big gainer. There was a crease there. Again, Fennell and Stoll did a pretty nice job.
Yeah, getting a lot of movement up front, and that's what you want to see. I mean, some of these guys are playing both ways. Some of them are still fresh. They're off the field for, as Coach Render pointed out, 9 minutes there. So let's line up and let's run the ball.
So 2nd and 7 here, 45-yard line, third quarter ticking away, but here comes the Panthers on a drive. Oh, they came up and really laid the boom there. That was 14, Jeremiah Hamilton, who came up from his defensive back spot and really put a pop on Jules. So he got about 2 or so. It's 3rd and 5. So, Harks, this is a big play, obviously. What do you see here?
We talked about it at the end of the half. I mean, I feel like you have to put the ball in your best player's hand. This ball has to go to 7 or 4. Hey, they can run an RPO and figure and have the QB pick between the two.
No, I love it.
You see up top, Bethel playing a little off. They were just 15 yards. Now they're about 8 yards off the ball. So maybe Coach Junk's adjusting there, and Bethel adjusting by moving their guy up a little bit. But you have an easy access throw up here up top.
And they're going deep again. And he overthrew him. You know, that was Cody. I take it back. So Cody had a half a step there. I have to think Junk probably goes for it here.
Yeah, I think that you don't really call that kind of play if you don't already have designs on going for it on 4th down.
Because it's one of those situations where the last time Bethel had the ball, even though you got a stop, they had the ball for about 8.5 minutes, and it took a penalty basically to get a stop. So I have to think this is go for it.
Yeah, with only 13 minutes left in the game, Bethel just held it for close to 9 minutes.
Yeah, you may not get it back.
Exactly.
So. All right.
Little pooch punt.
Coach is calling pooch punt. That's exactly what we're seeing. It's Jules stepping back. This is what they did against Mount Lebanon. He sort of muffed it. Oh, man. And he just barely got on it. It was Petrus again, who's been very dangerous. But so a good call, Coach. So here are the pros. Great field position shift. Get them deep. Obviously, the cons are what we talked about. The stops have been few and far between. I guess the counter argument would be we've had 2 stops in a row, so maybe the momentum is shifting. I'm uber aggressive and I worry about not getting the ball back.
I'm the same way, but I again can't fault decision either way. Totally understand why you do a little pooch kick there, and hey, they almost got the ball back there off a fumble.
They had the punt. I mean, if they would have not made the first down,
game
they would
over.
have given Bethel the ball at the 50-yard line.
Again, this is
406 more wins than both of us.
This is why I don't coach football. I've had this discussion. So that looked like a different back. I don't think that was Austin Kai.
Was it 35?
I didn't think it was Mole either. I could be wrong. No, that was Gavin Mole. Okay, so that makes sense. Obviously, he's a big, strong kid, and he punishes your defense. But I wonder if Austin Kai was getting a playoff. It looks like he might have an equipment issue.
Yeah, I wouldn't have him off the field for too much longer.
No, actually, I don't think that's Austin Kai back there again. Who is that? That looks like Nuttridge, maybe number 2. Or
he's coming out wide. I think 24 might be there.
Is that him?
Yeah, I think. Again, Yep.
Yeah, that's him. Okay. Look at him go.
Man.
He's just been flat out the best guy on the field. He's just been very, very difficult to tackle. And again, this is what my concern was, because even if you get a stop here like they did last time, if they bleed 7-8 minutes off the clock, you're in really difficult territory. So it's a tough situation. At the end of the day, the Panthers just have to get more stops. So this is 1st and 10 for the Hawks at their own 26-yard line.
They're going to bring a pressure here.
They get all the whiteboard pictures up to sort of audible. It's just fascinating. Somebody will have to explain to me all that stuff at some point in my life.
So does St. Clair have coaches up over on that side of the field? They have to.
I assume so.
Yeah. Over there?
So not much of a hole there, and they did a nice job. That's probably the most stout they've been at the point of attack. But there was a lot of boys there, but Shea Mora did a really nice job gambling in from his middle linebacker spot. So that is the end of the third quarter. Very, very fast third quarter. 20-14 Bethel Park. And boy, this is nerve time here when you're a Panther fan. So, Coach, while we have a stoppage here, I want to get back to a little more nostalgia because I just think it's important given the night we have. So, I've already asked you the question about 89 versus 92, but is there, of those olden sort of teams, is there one particular team or game or something that like really pops to you and kind of first comes to your head?
Well, my 89 team, those guys are still very close with each other, today. But we played North Hills at Mortarelli Stadium, and the game was on Sports Channel America, which is whatever they call where the Pirates are on now.
Yeah.
Whatever that, it's a down shoot, but the game was on national television, and the Mortarelli was jammed beyond jammed, and we hadn't had a point scored on us in 8 games, 4 in 88, and the first 4 in 89. Well,
there's a lot of points that game.
North Hills went out and scored, I think, the first 26. It was 26-7 at halftime. And
Did they have LeVar Arrington, North Hills?
Not that
Not
year.
that year?
No. LeVar Arrington played his last high school game ever on this field right here. That's another story. But anyhow.
No, their stars were Jason and Jeff Bender,
Yes.
quarterback and receiver.
Right. And we came back and won, and so that jumps out. There's no question.
Yeah, then we played them in the finals in the rematch and just routed them.
Yeah. The Benders said they would have won the game except for the fact that their dog died that day. So
Back to you, Gav.
I don't even know what to say about that.
I think our offense and defense had a little bit more than the dog.
All right, back to action. 2nd and 9 from their own 27 as we start the 4th quarter, and the Panthers have got to start getting aggressive here. Got to start getting stout and getting some stops.
Bethel packeted in St. Clair doing the same. They got men all over the line of scrimmage. There's like 6 guys across the ball there.
I feel like every time they do this, they run wide and catch us slanting or something. Is this another timeout? Another timeout from Bethel Park.
This looks like my 89. Yeah. Everybody was packed
in there, yeah. If you have the speed to get outside when you're in those condensed formations, as we've seen tonight, it can be fruitful for the offense.
Well, if you had Dougie Whaley and Pete Habib and the line coach had, I'd probably done that too.
No, it was great coaching. I mean,
always.
Doug Whaley was the Quad A Player of the Year in the state of Pennsylvania. He had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, as I told people, we had a big year 2 years ago, almost won states, won Whippeals, and everybody was like, oh, great, congratulations. I said, congratulations to me. So why don't you congratulate our starting 5?
Yeah.
Those dudes were unbelievable. I could have rolled the ball out and won probably, 20 games with that team. And it goes to show you, and most, I think, great coaches recognize this, it's about the Jimmies and the Joes is more than the X's and the O's, no matter how good you are. We've all coached, and myself, of the one thing we share in common is having the good fortune to coach some unbelievable kids.
Right.
So, all right, after another timeout from Bethel, they only have 1 left, so I guess keep that in mind if Panthers get the lead at some point. Kai goes wide again, just like we talked about. They strung it out pretty well there. Huff jumps in. Good job. Finally, they get that wide run and get them only to a gain of 2.
So, and you can see the X's and O's coming into play here. St. Clair making an adjustment. They've been bringing, when there's no receiver out that side, they've been bringing that corner a little tighter to the line of scrimmage, a little tighter and condensing the formation. They kept him a little bit looser there. He was able, he ate a big block from where there's a fullback or a pulling guard outside, but still strung the play out, rallied the troops, let's play team defense and make a play.
So 3rd and a long 7, short 8, and this is going to be one of the most fascinating 3rd downs of the game so far because
– Is this their first 3rd and 8?
I think so. And half of me thinks I go Kai wide again, and half of me thinks, maybe I throw the ball. It's going to be a throwback. Oh my God, he's wide
Snuck
open
him
again.
Out again, yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the wing back where we just didn't have recognition of him getting down the field, and he's wide open. It was a nice throw from Pfeiffer, but at the end of the day, wide open.
When you have so many, I mean, again, we said it was 3rd and 8, but I mean, Bethel Park's probably been running it at over 8 yards a clip at some points in this ball game. So a run there is not really exactly out of the question. So you got eyes on that backfield, and then sometimes you can lose those receivers in the trash.
And even worse news for the Panthers, their top cover corner, number 10, Jake Huffnagel, the senior, is down on the field, and that is very bad news for the Panthers. He's a guy who plays both ways, and he was a first-team all-conference corner last year. Things went from bad to worse there for the Panthers very quickly. So now we're in a situation here, Harks, where the clock is sort of bleeding right now, and you had them in a 3rd and long situation to really where you wanted them, and they got it. Do you think that was sort of a gut punch there, or do you think is this? How do you think the Panther D is feeling on the sideline?
It's definitely a deflating play there, but still, they're in that huddle now, and I guarantee you they're saying, "Hey guys, listen, ball's still on the 35-yard line. They can't kick a field goal." I mean, we saw them in the PAT. It's high school kicker at that point, and we get 2 stops here, force another 3rd and long, get a stop. We get the ball back, and we can go down and score and get a lead here.
The problem is now I think Bethel is in 4-down territory.
For sure.
No question.
And, of course, we got hurt when that or we got helped, when that kid jumped off sides
sure.
a little bit ago. So if they well, this is what a great game's all about. We're in crunch time, and
who's going to make the play?
Or the mistake.
Yeah, and the Panthers
Exactly.
the Panthers have played close games the last 2 weeks, so this is not uncharted waters for them. But they have not been behind very much this year. I mean, it's been almost not at all. This is very difficult to watch here. Huff has been such a great player for the last couple of years, and he's such a great kid. I hope he's okay. Coach Junko said several times in the paper the last couple of weeks, one of the big benefits of this year has been health. They were very banged up last year. They've been very healthy so far this year, and Huff would be an enormous loss.
Yeah, hopefully, obviously, it's minor injury, and he'll be okay.
Yeah, I hope so, too. Like I said, just a great kid. So, all right. The clock is back running here, 1st and 10 at the Panther 35, and Panthers got to get stout here. It's Mole this time. Nice job by Mark Banbury. Breaks off of his tackle and gets him down to the ground for about a gain of 1.5. But that's, the line, we've not seen them penetrate, get off blocks, and stop guys at the line very much. Mark did a great job there.
Yeah, phenomenal play, getting extension, getting off the block, and making the play where it needed to be.
I love the fact that McKenzie is not satisfied that I have asked the question properly. Now he's texting Render. I love this. It's funny. I was told by two different of the 92s at the thing to not give McKenzie a microphone ever. All right, they're back to throw here now. Play action. Oh, they got a man wide open. Right down the field, it's Petrus, and he's going to walk in. Man, every time they've thrown the ball, which has not been much, there's been a guy wide open. They run, they set up the pass, and that is a huge play for Bethel Park. They take the lead with 10 minutes to go in the game, 26-14.
What down was that?
First. Oh, no, second and 8.
Like you said, 4 down territory. Yeah,
but
like you said.
Was packed in
for sure. Yeah, but if you're Bethel Park, you're thinking, hey, we have 4 downs here, 2nd and 8, let's take a shot at the end zone, and hey, paid off for him.
Call. You have to give them a little.
Yeah, coach is calling a great game.
They've been fabulous. It's been a fabulous game plan. Extra point try this time is up and good.
I say that sitting up here. If I was down there, I'd be mad at somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, it's these conference games, these rivalry games are just so magnified, and it's a situation where this is likely for the section championship,
for
and
sure.
So it is a game where you pull out all the stops. You love to beat Mount Lebanon, for example, last week, but at the same time, that's a non-conference game. Like this,
Yep.
This game is an extremely meaningful football game, so you see a lot of emotion, you see the passion, but you got to give kudos to Bethel so far. Their execution has just been marvelous this evening.
just to, you correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't we in a bad situation against Bethel last year? And who's the kid that blocked the kick?
That was one of the most amazing things I've
Right.
ever seen.
Yeah.
Mateo, I think it was Mateo and Ivory Travers, I think, blocked it. Maybe Mateo returned it. But
So it's still
Still a game for sure.
Yeah,
10 minutes
still
left,
we got a-
13-point game. St. Clair, I mean, they got, like I said, they have a game breaker, number 4. He can take the top off the defense in one play, and we're back sitting here with a one-score game,
oh, sports is crazy. I never even
especially high school sports.
it is, because it's one of these situations where, even in Division I college football, you see ridiculous stuff, but those kids are basically pros in many cases. At this level, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, I mean, if you know anything about coaching kids that level, anything can happen. And it usually does.
Yeah, and when I was that age, obviously never made any mistakes, but, not many people were like myself. I mean, that's –
He's lying to you folks, and I have direct memory of that. But I'll also say this: knowing how many mistakes we make as coaches as an adult age experience.
exactly.
I mean, what are you going to expect from 16, 17, 18-year-olds? Which is why that's why you watch.
And that was totally totally tongue-in-cheek by me there. I made plenty of mistakes when I was 16 through 18 years old.
And they hop on it, but again, they're using that short kick. I give Bethel credit for that, even though it's good field position for the Panthers. One less touch for Besselman or Brown is a good thing.
Yeah, and they're essentially saying, hey, we trust our defense here. We trust our defense enough that we're not going to put the ball in your best player's hands, and we're going to give you decent starting field position because we think that we'd rather stop you lining up and playing defense against you than having to run down and tackle 2 of your best players.
So I'm going to ask this question again, even though I think I know the answer. Are we now at the time where you would consider like play action going deep on first down as opposed to sort of staying the course?
Yeah, I think you have to now. You kind of got to almost get into a 2-minute situation. You don't need to be moving that fast, but with how Bethel's been playing on offense, you kind of have to stretch the field here.
Dallum. Oh, and it's intercepted. Unfortunately, he was looking for Lagoni on the slant. Petrus, he overthrows him. Petrus picks it off. Boy, that is a backbreaker for the Panthers, and that's the downside of trying to throw the ball on first down, particularly the middle of the field.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, St. Clair trying to get some deep crossers, deep routes over the middle of the field, trying to break through the gaps in Bethel's zone defense, and you can see there. I mean, it's what happens in sports at any level that some players make great plays. Great play with Bethel Park there.
Yeah, so now it's really sort of desperation time for the Panthers on the defensive side of the ball. It's not the time. 10 minutes is plenty of time in high school football. It's every play they're taking 35, 40 seconds off the clock, and the Panthers have struggled so much to stop the run. It almost feels like it's got to be 3 and out here.
And you asked earlier about when's the time where you sell out on defense and kind of zero blitz them and bring pressure in. Hey, look at that.
and there's Van Helman, number 23, gets into the backfield. The sophomore gets into the ground.
You think St. Clair knew they were going to run the ball on that first down?
But I feel like they've known they were going to run the ball a lot on first down, and it hasn't gone that well.
Yeah, but now the clock is
not their friend,
factor.
Well, Coach, we were in a situation at South Fayette last year, and we were very, curious. They were throwing the ball a little bit in this situation and ended up biting them. If you're Bethel, do you sort of are you satisfied running the ball 3 times, knowing how successful they've been tonight?
I don't think Bethel's looking to pass the ball right now.
It's Kai again. He's got room again. He's going to get 5. And so it's just so interesting to me. It's the same thing. Whether his vision is just amazing, he's finding the holes, or we're not penetrating it, whatever it is, he's
and you
been
have
amazing.
to give credit to the guys up front. St. Clair, like you said, certain parts of the line, they're not getting knocked off the ball, but then, hey, one guy doesn't do his job, you can create a crease there, and he's done a very, very good job of finding that crease, however small.
Yeah, so if there's probably the play of the game right now for the Panther defense, because if they get another first down here, they're probably in 4-down territory, and you're short of a penalty or a fumble, you're not likely to stop them. So, if there was ever a time where you were going to shoot a gap or try to get, it would probably be here, in my opinion.
I'd be surprised if they stop Bethel here if they don't punt it. I mean, if you can pin, St. Clair scored 14 points now in a quarter or 3.5 quarters. If you can pin them deep here, now I would go for it, Gav. I don't disagree with you, but.
Oh, and they got fortunate there because Kai looked like he tripped in the backfield and sort of lost his forward momentum there. So now
I'm voting punt again. I think they're going to punt.
Yeah, it looks like they're getting the punt team ready over there on the sideline.
I'll tell you what, Harks, I wouldn't, but I get it.
With the way they've been running the football, I think he's going to run this down
And
make a decision, yeah.
I think
They don't have it. They have one timeout left, but there you go, yep.
so punt team is out. If I'm the Panthers, I don't think I'd be too unless Austin Kai is off the field, I don't think I'd be too punt-oriented.
Yeah, you're at the point now where it's like, do you really send a guy back there? Or do you? Oh,
Boy, he almost got that. Was that Besselman? And Lagoni does a nice job. I still feel like that's a halo violation. Like that happened in the Peters game, and it led to a fumble. And
it's
I
got to
don't
be
know.
1 yard all around the ball carrier.
I mean, he's right
Yeah.
on top of him, and it ended up being a fumble. And Alex Park, who was on the game with me, made the similar comment saying that seems like a halo violation to me. If there's not a halo at all, like if you just can't touch the guy, that's different.
Yeah,
But
and typically if Alex would say something, usually it'd be incorrect. But there, he's definitely made a good point. So
you've been on him hard today. I kind of love it.
I was texting him earlier, giving him the business. He misidentified, and I joked. An offensive lineman knew the coverage better than a quarterback on the first play of the game against Peters.
All right, so here's JB running to the outside. Ooh, does a nice job skipping through a tackle. Ooh, he almost got through. He got through about 2 or 3 dancing through, but Petrus held on for dear life and got him down after about a gain of 8.
Yep.
So, maybe the Panthers think they learned their lesson on the last drive, getting a little too aggressive on first down, and are going to try to establish the run again.
Yeah, if you can run it at 8-9 yards a clip, I see no reason you can get on the ball and run it right again. I mean,
There is still 7 minutes
exactly.
left.
Yeah, clock isn't your friend, but if you can get big chunk plays, big explosive plays in the run game.
So Jules goes off tackle there. Good job by JB to get out in front and block. That's going to be an easy first down for the Panthers, and they'll get about a gain of 7. So got some breathing room here to the Hawk 35-yard line, and the clock stops on that play. So the more often you can get out of bounds, the better off we're all going to be here on this drive. So Moorhead's still in the game as a fullback, which leads me to believe this is not going to be just spread and chuck, although, boy, not having Huffnagel in the game is a pretty big deal at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And you see they're doubling up their bracket and Besselman right here at the bottom.
So it's Jamal again, and Ori from the backside gets him down after about a gain of 4. He's been very active. It always hurts my heart a little bit to see these Panther greats and their kids play in other communities. It's like when Joey Mascaro, who is the son of our
Man,
Hall of
did he
Famer
torture
tonight,
us in hoops.
just tortured us for Bethel and hoops. And every time I'd see his dad at the games, I'd be like, "Come on, man!" We could have used the Hondrews at St. Clair too. I tell Mark that all the time. This is Jules. He's back. He's going to go deep. Bess has double coverage. It's a jump ball. He almost came down with it though. Jules may have waited a little long there. They were sort of sitting waiting as opposed to kind of give him the chance to run under it.
Yeah, and again, I think that might be perceived as ill-advised, but when you have a talent like Aiden, sometimes you have to go, hey, I'm going to go let you go make a play. We need a play right here. Go make one. And I think that's on second down. I kind of like that call.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. I think that they waited a little long time. It'd be easier for him to make a play kind of when he's still running and there's not 2 guys standing
under
there
it,
waiting.
yep.
All right, so 3rd and 6, 6:12 to go. Now I think we're obviously in 4-down territory, but let's not get to there, hopefully. Bethel looks like they're showing some blitz here, and it looks like they are. They're throwing the out there. Oh, and the pass was a little high. Good job by Nutridge coming up and laying the boom on Bess. Even if Bess had caught that, I don't think he was short of the stick. And he's shaken up a little bit. That was a hard hit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you get those high balls and you kind of get the defender coming underneath you and you're landing on all your body weight, that's does not feel good.
No, absolutely not.
I'll be interested to see. We've seen on a couple obvious passing situations here, Bethel was opted for kind of a 5-man pressure, I guess, get the lineman big on big, Bob up front. So we're going to get 5 one-on-ones and try and win one of them. I'll be interested to see if they do the same here.
The O-line's done a great job in pass to knock on wood, but the pass blocking has been terrific. That has not been a problem all night. Jules has time again. He throws high. Unfortunately, he had Bess on the slant, but he missed him. And, we're getting in really difficult territory now. You turned it over in a bad area, given in Panther territory with 6 minutes to go, and that's got to be a pretty deflating one for the Panthers.
Yeah, you're getting into trying everyone on defense is trying to grab and knock the ball out at this point.
Yeah, we have not seen a turnover yet, so maybe that's your guiding hope. Although, if you're trying to tackle the ball with Kai, you might end up giving up a touchdown.
Busting a long one.
Yeah, he's been terrific in terms of breaking tackles. And give Bethel credit. it's not easy. I don't care what offense you run to execute well, to not put the ball on the ground. These are high school kids.
For sure.
One exchange, not messing up. They've been really, really sharp.
Yeah, and one of the, they've been doing, as Coach alluded to last drive, St. Clair now knows what's coming, and for the most part, Bethel has been kind of able to do whatever they want.
Here's Kai here off tackle.
Wow,
Oh, wow,
play.
Lagoni get in there and stuck him. Really nice hit by Ty Lagoni, number 43, the senior. And, they can afford to take chances here on defense at the end of the day. I mean, it's sort of desperation time, but, you can if you can get a quick stop here and, don't give up the ship. This is
yeah, you never know. Like you said, we just talked about it. You never know.
No, still a big series. 2nd and 11 here. Pfeiffer trying to draw him off sides.
St. Clair has all 11 defenders inside of 10 yards of the ball.
Yeah, I would too. They've thrown it a couple
You have to,
times, but at the end of the day, I think you take that chance at this point.
Mm-hmm. They might be audible in here. Coach is saying the slant up at the top of the screen, or top of the field.
This is Kai again. He cuts it back. And, see, that's the problem. They've had a lot of situations where it looks like they have things stacked up, and then he just scoots through a hole. He gets low. He got great vision, and they just have not been able to bring him to the ground.
Yeah, a little inside zone attack they've been running a couple times here. He's doing a very good job. It's A-gap to cutback, and St. Clair's washing out of that A-gap, but he's finding that cutback lane really well.
So 3rd and 4, and I'm sure if you're Bethel Park, you run it twice here and don't even think about it because time is very. Even if they end up turning it over on downs, they are really running clock at this point.
Yep.
There's still plenty of time on the play clock. They're looking at the sideline doing a check with me. But at the end of the day, I will be shocked if Kai is not getting the football here. No, a QB sneak. So I'm guessing they figure they can do that twice and get a first down. And they're probably not wrong, given that he got 2 there, which he got half of it.
Yep, same thing we saw down here in the goal line. One play, they do a little check with me. You look over whoever's signaling the plays in, taps both his legs, signals QB sneak. They see A-gaps open one way or the other, fall forward to the A-gap, get 3-4 yards.
So I wonder if they're going to run it down and use their last time out here. But this is pretty much, the Panthers do have all 3 timeouts left, but I think for all intents and purposes, this is pretty much it. They got to get a stop here. So,
yeah, there's only so much time left. You pretty much need to stop. Figure minute and a half is the minimum amount of time you need to score. It definitely is do or die here.
So this is going to be a timeout here for the Hawks. This is their final timeout with 3:44 to go in the 4th quarter. We will have a 4th and 2 here. And, guys, if you're on defense here for the Panthers, what's the strategy? Is it 11 guys basically towards the ball? Or do you just sell out and take a chance saying they're not going to throw here?
I think maybe you have one guy, one safety at 10 yards just in case, but you have to be sending 9 guys towards the ball. So you got to be absolute zero blitz. Any guy who isn't covering a wide receiver, maybe one safety deep. It's got to be complete full pressure here.
You know what would scare me, or as a play caller, I'd do it. I'd fake that inside run to the
boot the QB,
and either way,
or number
throw
one,
it, yeah,
or number 1 on that play again.
True, yeah.
Because I was going to say there's no way it's not a QB keeper or Kai again, but now you're getting me thinking. I will say this: if he does something other than Kai or a QB sneak, I will give him so much credit because that takes a lot of courage to make.
Oh yeah.
It's Kai outside, and he's got it easy. It's sometimes to me you don't overthink it. We've not stopped it all night, and you saw the guys were shooting in, and they went wide again and got it without a problem. So, it's my only hope here, Harks, is this is not something that other teams can see and take advantage of. It's just a team that's really playing well.
Yeah, Bethel Park, like we've said all day, have done a phenomenal game plan coming in. And they've figured out something that's worked, and they've kind of stuck with it the entire game. And you have to give kudos to, A, the Blackhawks players, and B, the coaching staff. It's been an all-around team win, for lack of – I don't want to be calling anything too early here, but it's been an all-around team effort, and it's a great plan, great execution.
Yeah, it's one of my – sort of unwritten jobs on this broadcast is to be a huge homer, and that's not a hard job for me. I love Upper St. Clair. I love these kids, every single one of them. I get to know them so well. I coach a lot of them in hoops. But at the end of the day, sometimes you got to tip your cap.
For
You
sure.
always say, it's the opponents are on scholarship sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Bethel's been fabulous tonight.
You're the gunner of Upper St. Clair High School football. You're a homer, that's who's paying you. So.
No question. And you can be a homer and not sugarcoat everything. I mean, you can try to
Right.
describe what's going on.
You've been fair to Bethel.
Yeah, absolutely. So first down again here. And again, I think it's going to be a large dose of Austin Kai, who's probably carried the ball 40 times. I mean, it's Kai wide again. He's going to get about probably 2. Stays in bounds.
Is he a junior?
He's a senior.
Senior, yep.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a basketball player as well.
Is Dahlem a basketball player?
He is. Yeah, he's going to definitely be in the mix as a sophomore this year in our backcourt for sure. So the Panthers used their first, or is that their? I guess that was their second timeout. I think they used one on the fourth down conversion. So, obviously we're in sort of desperation time. They got one more timeout left, but the clock is an enormous factor. But more so than the clock, Harks, is just the inability to get stops. In the first half it was, kind of dominant in terms of we weren't even getting him to third downs. The second half has been better. We've gotten him to third downs a lot. We've even gotten him into some longer third downs, but it's not been able to get off the field.
Yeah, the adjustments St. Clair has made on first and second down have seemed to work, but on those third down, those money downs, Bethel Park has still been able to prevail on those.
Yeah, it's and what you want to do is get them in really deep situations. But get the one thing that we haven't really talked about is they haven't been whistled for a penalty other than the one pre-snap penalty. I mean, almost nobody.
Very
has.
clean game for Bethel Park all around.
So they haven't gotten behind the sticks or anything like that, which I'd love to see the kid throw when he has to. So this is that end around we talked about to Petrus, and he's going to get some yards, and he's going to get about 4 or 5. So just to show they get a little bit tricky there and get that little tight end around, and he gets about 4 or 5.
Yeah, that receiver pinning the end man in the line of scrimmage there, and then 35 Mole coming around and picking up that corner has kind of been kryptonite for the Panthers all night. They have really not been able to stop that little jet end around play.
So, Coach, I have a question for you. So in situations like this where, it's probably not going to go the Panthers' way this evening, but you have a good football team, what's your message like? Because this didn't seem to be like an effort thing or something where you want to hammer them. What's your message?
Well, my message would be tonight, you're never as good as you think you are when you win, and you're probably never as bad as as a coach, I would stand down there at this point in the game and look at that scoreboard and I'd be moaning, Then I watched the film and I realized we did some good things. And then on your Saturday film sessions, you got to accentuate the positive.
Well, it's emotional. It's raw at the time. There's not a more emotional sport than this one. So 3rd and 3. It's Kai again, and he's going to get another first down, and frankly, that will just about do it, I think. The clock will stop temporarily to move the sticks, and then the Panthers are more or less out of timeouts. I think they might have one more, but that's going to pretty much do it. Yeah, we always talk about, you're emotional right after the game, and you don't want to be too angry or anything like that. But at the end of the day, it's much more important to look at the film and try to stress accountability and to get better. Than it is to just beat kids up. And
I'll tell you a quick story. 1988, Jerry Bertiotti's senior year.
They're in tight again. This is a different back finally. And Blake Striegel, another senior, gets the ball and doesn't go very far. Go ahead, Coach.
Well, we lost up at North Allegheny on a Saturday afternoon, and I was moaning. And, in reality, the touchdowns that North Allegheny got were all big mistakes, drop, punt, and anyhow.
Individual plays, not necessarily breakdowns.
When we watched the film, our defense actually played exceptionally well. And my point, the moral of the end of the story is we shut out the last 4 opponents of that year WPIL championship. And then, as I talked about a little while ago, we also shut out the first 4 opponents of '89.
Yeah, I mean,
So after, my point, after a tough defeat, where I thought we stunk, we didn't stink. We made a couple of huge mistakes, but the team, the concept, especially on our defensive side, was very good.
fans tend to get frustrated sometimes. Like, they are very emotional, and then immediately after games, they want coaches to rave and rant. And, they get frustrated when coaches say, well, I need to see the film. And, I always stress to people, if you're not saying that, you've never coached.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because you miss a ton of stuff live. There's just no way around it. You can't watch everything. And so, I watch every game right after the game when I go home. That's just what I can't go to bed without watching the film. I make my edit right after the game. Some say it's a bad idea because you're emotional either way. But for me, I can't sleep otherwise. And then I feel better about knowing kind of how the game went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no, I did it just the opposite. And my logic was I was drained after a game. You prepare all week, you do the game, and I watched the film on Saturdays. I wasn't one to stay up half the night.
I'm a terrible sleeper, so it doesn't really matter. So this is 4th down. And they're going to get a stop and get them off the field with 16 seconds left. But Bethel did their job there. They probably didn't even want to score there, to be honest.
Yep.
No reason to try to rub it in and get a late one. But yeah,
I think they were trying to get it.
Did you? I mean, I would be in a rivalry game. I'd be trying to score as many points as I can. But
yeah, and I think as both of you have touched on, this could be a matchup that we see down the road in a playoff game. So Saturday is going to be a very important what did we do right, what worked, what didn't work, and what adjustments do we need to make going forward, because in the Panthers sit here, 6-1, 5-1 right now?
Do you remember the story about they asked Woody Hayes, they were beating Michigan like 48-7 or something like that. Late in the game, they scored, and Woody went for 2. And the reporter says, why did you go for 2? And he
couldn't
says,
go for 3.
They wouldn't let me go for 3.
rivalries are the best. It stings a lot when you lose in these games, but there's a reason you love these games and they're so memorable because, oh, dear, that's a high hit. That should actually be a flag, I would think.
Man, good to see him get up after that. Wow.
Is that – I didn't think that was allowed.
Shoulder right to the helmet. It should be – that was a point of emphasis this year for the PIAA, so.
And that's going to take us to the final. And so a tough pill to swallow here for the Panthers, dropping their first game of the season to Bethel Park by a score of 27-14. The Panthers will be back at home next week. The Cannon McMillan Big Macs will be in town. And, boy, this is what you hate to see, the field storming on your own field, and these are what hurts for rivalry games.
Yeah, and like we said, though, this could be a matchup that we see later in the season. It's something you got to kind of sear in your memory for later in the year, get back to tomorrow morning and move. I mean, you still got the whole season ahead of you, so it's nothing to really hang your head about. You just got to learn and move on.
Now, number 1 and number 2, it makes a ton of sense. Harks, what are your any takeaways here? Was there something obvious you think when you're trying to summarize this one?
I mean, the big takeaway for me is just the Bethel Park run game. I mean, it was unstoppable. If they can run the ball like that, I don't see who. I mean, this is a St. Clair front that is phenomenal that we're talking about, and great at the second level, great at the third level on defense too. If Bethel Park can run the ball like that, they can beat anyone. And for St. Clair, like I said, you got the whole season ahead of you. There's no reason to hang your head. This is a very good opponent, big rivalry game. Learn from this game and move on.
Harks, I appreciate you joining me, buddy. I learned a lot, and it's always great to spend an evening with you.
Yeah, phenomenal. Thanks for having me, Gav. Had a great time.
And, Coach, I always enjoy when you're up here. I thank you for bringing a little color to our Hall of Famers tonight from the football program and the legendary class of 1992 Whitfield champs.
Yeah, I wanted to say to Ryan Harkleroad, I know you probably didn't mention this tonight, but he battled cancer when he was in high school, and he's won that battle, and we'll all live to celebrate it again.
Yeah, thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
We definitely will. Good night. We will see you next Friday.